Live in color from Television City in Hollywood. It's the Grotto Orloff television program brought to you from the Hotel Orloff in Rural Retreat, Virginia. Once again, we're here on a grim Thursday evening in the gift shop of the Hotel Orloff. We got a package today in the mail, man. But I'll tell you something. The post office has gotten real bad. So this was not sent to us by USPS. It was sent by UPS. And you know what? UPS gets it to you exactly at the time they say it's going to get to you. It's really quite remarkable. So kudos to UPS. I was about to say PBS, but no, we don't like PBS here. But we're bringing you once again a show live from the Grotto Orloff Inspirational Network. Here is the box that's arrived. Giant box. So, no further ado, let's see what's in this box, man. It's a long story that you may have already heard about this box. And while I open it, I guess I should, first of all, I've got to find something to open it with. Where's my blade? Yeah, man. Hold on a second. Oh boy, what's going on with the StreamYard here? This is the link to come. Oh yeah, they're still doing this weird stuff. Yeah, last time I did a live stream, they have it all weird. If you're doing StreamYard from your phone, they made it real weird. I hate this. Ridiculous. Then it says share your referral link. What the heck is that? I don't even know what they're talking about. Anyway, a blade. When I last opened a package, it must have been around here somewhere. I must have put the blade somewhere hidden so that, because we have two new little kittens, and I'm afraid hold on, I may have put the blade where they can't get to it. No. Trump says the U.S. has secret super weapons. No, I had hidden the blade. How about that? So what happened basically is, Jesus. If ye have faith and doubt not, ye shall not only do this which is done to the fig tree, but also, if ye shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, it shall be done. All right. That's the Jesus clock with Darth Vader reading from the Bible. I got that at Dollar General. I'm sure that was made in China, and it will be very expensive to get another one, but that's okay. All right. So, I guess about a month ago, I got a comment in the chat on the side of live broadcast from someone named like Shazam Boy 53, and it said, I've got a bunch of Golden Age comics, and I'd like to just basically give them to you guys for providing entertainment for all these years on your show. And so I thought, okay, that sounds like that's a prank. That doesn't sound real. I thought, should I block this guy? This sounds like a, what is the word? A troll? Yeah. I thought, well, then it's like, okay, yeah, that didn't sound like. Didn't sound real. Too good to be true. You're right. So anyway, a couple weeks later, uh, Kevin Johnson, the owner of Gotham City Comics in Mesa, Arizona, calls me up and said, "Remember that guy that said he wants to basically kind of give away comics? He contacted me. He's got 280, 290 gold, mostly Golden Age comics, and some other stuff, paraphernalia, radio premiums and things, and he wants to uh, sell it cheap." And he said he had a price, and that he'd offered me, and then we could, and so we started a StreamYard show like this, but we didn't go live. We just started it, and then so we met with this fellow Mike, who apparently is in the same state as Kevin, Arizona, but on the other side of the state. And he showed us. He went through all the comics and showed them to us. And I think, boy, wow, I want that one. I want that one. I picked out the ones I wanted in my mind. But then Kevin was saying, I can't afford to get them. It was a low price he wanted for everything because he was moving across the ocean to Thailand. In fact, he's moving there Tuesday. He's going to be on the plane. And so he said, Kevin said, I don't think these books would probably sit forever because there's stuff that you like and stuff that the people that watch your show like, but the stuff that people that come in my store, this is not their thing. So, and he said, plus, I never drive more than a few miles. And this, I'd have to cross a desert, and I'd need a couple new tires, and he said, I just can't. So I thought, well, oh my gosh, I guess that deal is done. And then a few 2 nights later, Mike calls, pops up on the show live and says, "Hey, let's just you guys pick the comics you want, and we'll make a list of how much everything is." And so myself and Meyer Greenblatt were picking. I think, well, no, Meyer wasn't on there at first, or what? Or what? I don't know. I think I called. Meyer came on at some point, and then I contacted Captain Strangelife. I contacted Charlton 66. I never got him on, but there was stuff that I knew he'd want, Navy stuff like Don Winslow at the Navy, and I knew there was stuff Captain Strangelife would like, and I knew what I already wanted, and I already had those. I told everyone there's certain books I kind of have already that I know I want, but everything else is up for grabs. The dog's doing zoomies here, and we contacted Jambo because there are a bunch of westerns in there, and man, who else was there? A bunch of people showed up, right? Uh, Spinner Rack Studios showed up. He didn't buy anything, I think. Yeah, man, I can't remember now. Anyway, Captain Strangelove has already shown some of the stuff he got in his package. This this thing is taped together so well. This I was on the phone. But anyway, let me finish the story. So anyway, so we all picked out stuff, and then he came. Then the question was, how do we pay him, and how does he ship the stuff to us? And then some of the guys were nervous about Zelle. They didn't know how Zelle worked as far as getting him money. And then Kevin said, well, we could get everything to my store. If everything was sent to my store, then you guys could pay me with whatever debit cards, whatever, PayPal, and then I'd send all the money to him. And so that then people, once Zelle was out of the picture, that some people didn't trust Zelle. Then it's just like, oh yeah, well then that sounds good. And then well, how? How's it all going to get to Kevin's store? It's 4 hours away. And then this amazing, cool viewer named Jeff said, hey, I'll just drive there in the middle of the night. I'll pick it up at daybreak and I'll have it to your store by noon. And so everything just worked out perfectly. And everything that Mike had sold really. This doesn't work at all. It's like, I, okay. Okay, I guess I just have to pay attention. Anyway, doesn't matter. I had to wait till the end of the month to have money. I think everybody else already got all their stuff, probably. Oh yeah, we brought in. I told Jambo, who's going on Graphic Man show, to tell him there were a bunch of Roy Rogers books, Disney. I think he had all the Disney books. He came on. Come on, you dirty. Yeah. Anyway, this is a. Kevin said this is probably the biggest box he's ever packed and shipped, and he was. Well, I was talking to him on the phone while he packed it, and he was like chuckling. He said, "This is his masterpiece." So we're going to look and see how he packed it. Now, those of you in the comic book community know about mycomicshop.com, formerly known as Lone Star Comics, used to be my local comic store. What the hell is going on here? Are these what is going on here? I have no idea what share your referral link even means. Hold on a second. Um, oh, there's a bunch of people commenting. I didn't even see it. Last Frontier says, good evening. Oh yeah, Last Frontier was there too. I forgot about you. He probably got the best deal of all of us. He got so many cards and things for what, 20 cents a piece? I don't remember, something really good. Oh, they made it so hard to show comments. Oh, Library 88. Also, congrats on your Night Tiger contest win, too. I thought you might get it. Yeah, you have to hit another button for it to show on stage. Well, thank you, Library 88. I was going to mention that. Yeah, yesterday I found out I won the. My wife says, stop blocking people until they talk crap. The same weirdo obsessed stalkers watch anyway. Thanks for the views, losers. Oh, well. I am one of us, says hi, too. And somehow I shared this, which I had no idea, as- under my name. I don't even know what this means. It says, Dr. Gratu Orloff, new to streaming or looking to level up? Check out StreamYard and get $10 discount. Oh, I guess if you pay money to StreamYard, I get money for it. Is that what they're trying to tell me? Um, Oh, Meyer Greenblatt. Yeah, Meyer was there. Yeah, his box was packed masterfully. He says, yes, indeed. Man, this is a pain to show these comments. The cards were great. He'd come on and show him, but he's probably still at work. Shit, man, you cats, stop fighting. Then the dog comes to break up the fight. It's a live action Tom and Jerry cartoon here. Okay, they almost knocked over the Christmas tree, man. Okay, sorry. I had to turn my stupid camera sideways to look at the moronic comments. I mean, the wonderful comments. Okay. Um, what? Yeah, anyway. So, so yeah. Whatever. Um, yeah, Night Tiger had a contest. We were supposed to talk. He's supposed to enter because he got 2,500 subscribers. It's like, tell why you collect Golden Age or why you're too stupid to collect Golden Age, kind of basically. And so I did like an hour long show, but you know, the thing about, I think what cinched my win in that contest, Night Tiger was telling me, is as I told the story about my mother and the like in that brilliant Batman v Superman, that's what caused him to stop fighting. Is, oh, your mother's name Martha too? Well, I guess I won't crush your head, Superman. So stupid. But anyway, my mother was always on the phone doodling in a profile of a glamour girl face cartoon. And I said, yeah, I have so many pages around that I've saved. My mother passed away over 20 years ago, but I saved her art. And she would doodle the same face over and over again, maybe with slight variations in hairstyle. And I said, what did you read? What is this? Did you read comics when you were a little girl? And she was born in the late 20s. And she said, I read Tilly the Toiler. And so, looking up Tilly the Toiler, I realized that comic strip, that comic book, that's the face she was drawing. And my dad always said, well, I read Captain Midnight and some Superman. I always wanted to know, what did my parents read? Because they were the exact age to be reading those Golden Age comics. And anyway, turned out she read Tilly the Toiler. So Night Tiger sent me a Tilly the Toiler comic book, man, just out of nowhere, just because he knew that was some. I always wanted a Tilly Toiler. I only saw one Tilly Toiler comic out in the wild, as the comic book nerds say. It was it looked like someone had wiped their posterior on it, and but so I didn't get it. But so anyway, I'd like to get more Tilly the Toiler crap, because it's like a sacred thing, man. It's my mother. And I hate. I fake things. I open the box, and that's what Captain Strangelove did. He faked opening the box. That's masterful. That's what you do. You open the box and you put it all back together, so you don't. Because I'm such a klutz, I'm liable to cut a few fingers off and live on television, and that would upset you too, because they don't like blood. Ugh. I got the lid open, man, and I get dust all over me because we live out in a rural area, and the UPS truck drives to all these farmhouses on white gravel roads, and this white dust kicks up and gets over all the boxes in the UPS truck, and white billowing clouds. And then when you bring the box in, you get this dust all over you. Okay, man. So this is first thing I see opening the box. And again, this is Kevin Johnson of Gotham City Comics. Masterpiece of packing. He said this is the best packing he's ever done. Um, Now, as I was saying, Lone Star Comics, mycomicshop.com, everyone knows that they are the masters at packing. But I think people are starting to realize that Kevin at Gotham City Comics is even better. Oh, we start off with this tray. Captain Strangelove also got one of these. It's a real 1950s Coca-Cola. Damn, that cat's got sharp claws. This one's at first I wasn't gonna get this one, but I wound up getting it because the other one is even better. What is that? Oh my gosh. Here's a piece of cardboard. It's oh shit. It's USS Enterprise, one of these things broke. That always happens. I'll have to glue that shit. I better put this somewhere where it won't get oh my gosh. Well, what's next? Uh, Bubble wrap. What are these humans saying? I'll read it. Gotham City Comics said, hello, good evening. That was, and I am one of us. Says, that was nice of Night Tiger giving you Tilly the Toiler comic. Gotham City says, no, that's all right. I can fix it. That always, every time, when I had that happened to me in third grade. I had a USS Enterprise model kit. The same thing happens. Those things always break. Whatever. Gary knew immediately what those things were called. And it's like, how do you know that? They never said what they were called in the show. I don't think they did. But anyway. Oh my goodness. There's a couple things wrapped together. Um, so he's, guys, instead of commenting fallopian tubes, that's right, Meyer, that's what they're called. Guys, would you please come on the show? All of you commenting in the chat, all of you, I am one of us, because it's YouTube is whatever this is. StreamYard's made it impossible for me to read the comments, and so it's really imperative that you come on and actually talk, because oh my God. And this is very much like that face of Tilly the Toiler. This is the same kind of thing, basically, that my mother would draw, is this kind of profile on this Bringing Up Father book from 1930. Bringing Up Father. It's reprints of comic strips from, some of it's been slightly colored, from, well, a human is coming in, a red dot. It's Gotham City. Hey there.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Make yourself on the big screen.
Oh, yeah, I'll make myself bigger. Let's see. That would take layout. This button. All right. Maybe I should just make. All
There
right.
you go.
Yeah. Yep. Damn. It's Radio Orphan Annie's Secret Society. 1938, 5th anniversary year. Bigger and better than ever. Orphan Annie had those spooky eyes. They should have done that in the movie, the movie that came out in the late 70s. They should have just had white contact lens in her eyes. That's what I would have done. Little Orphan Annie is not like what people think it was from those musical movies and Broadway adaptations. It was like Johnny Quest. It was a adventure comic and radio series. Another dot. Oh, it's Meyer. Hello, Meyer. Damn, man. Here's your initiation letter. I need to do a show where I show this with better quality than this horrible StreamYard. Inferior. What the heck? What is
How was
this?
your day? Was it shitty?
My day was it shitty?
That's what I ask people at the supermarket all the time. Like, when I go to the supermarket, just a complete stranger, I'll ask them, "How was your day? Was it shitty?" It's a good icebreaker.
Yeah,
that's
because
cool.
people never will tell you that. They'll always say
They don't
fine.
expect it. Yeah, you catch them unawares like that, and before you know, you're going home and you're taking a hot tub.
Dopey's Christmas tree from this is a gift from Powers. Must have been a department store. It's a coloring book, which is it's the thing about these things, they're so ancient. They're very fragile.
What's the year on that? Is that like from the original release from 1932 or something?
38.
Wow, that's
Um,
impressive.
um, Trying to remember the exact year it came out. I used to be able to tell you that, but
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was 32, but I could be wrong.
oh, they've made this so hard.
That's what came out.
I almost wish someone would just tell me what these comments are saying. I have to turn it
You know what?
sideways.
It might be easier for me. Hey, let me see before go back to normal. Let me see if I click on the comments.
Oh, well, I don't know. You might have to. I don't know
Well,
if
I
you can
could
make a.
read them, but the thing is I don't like reading the comments because I don't like to be like I don't want to be like what
I know, I know. It's. I just
Yeah,
wanted to see.
I don't like having complete idiots put words in my mouth, so that's
Last
the reason.
front. No, this last frontier's not an idiot. Was Annie
I
or
know I'm
any
just
of these gentlemen? Was Annie's eyes meant to symbolize something? No, it's just a way to.
but great
Not.
truth lies in jest.
I don't know, but it is spooky, man. Um.
Yes, so her eyes make her look hypnotized or mesmerized or a
Yeah.
zombie. She looks like a zombie, is what she looks
Yeah.
like, right? That's nice.
Yeah.
Sheet music?
It's sheet music. Yeah. And
I don't know Loving You. I don't know the song Hot Dog. That's cool though that you've got all that.
it's from his first movie, the Western. It's like I have spent my whole life through
Well,
loving
that's
you.
pretty cool because you could probably that's going to be all simple. Those are probably really simple songs. That's probably like 3 chords in each one of those songs there, and you could probably learn to play that on an acoustic guitar. You could just like read the
Yeah,
tab.
except my my guitar has 2 strings. They all
Well, yeah,
broke it. It's a plastic guitar from 1966.
those are going to be the only 2 that you need to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the lights on. That looks good. You don't always have the lights on. That's a nice setup. This looks good. Very colorful.
I don't know where I'm going to put all this stuff is the problem. Um, Luckily, I got a frame when I was at Walmart. You guys take Walmart for granted, but Walmart, I just happened to be near a Walmart on last Monday, and so I need frames, and I only got one lobby card from this. All the other lobby cards I think Jeff got. They were a bunch of other westerns, but this one was the one I thought was the coolest one. Even though I don't know if I've ever seen a movie with Buck Jones.
I think Buck Jones portrayed the Phantom Rider in the Phantom Rider serial.
Really?
Yeah, he did, which was kind of cool because the Phantom Rider looked a lot like the Ghost Rider that came later in the comics, I think.
Oh yeah.
He
Would
was a
someone
white.
look up who Alan
Yeah.
Easterling was?
What's
Those
that?
of you, actually,
Oh, Alan
this is
Easter.
this
I
lobby
didn't
card
either.
is old enough that it's a little too big to fit in this frame. Either that or the Chinese slave labor is making these frames a little bit small. Oh well.
We're gonna get that squared away real quick.
Yeah, man. What should I use to fix that fallopian tube on the Enterprise, Meyer? Nothing ever
Um,
works for me. I guess I need to start using hot glue, like a hot glue gun, because
no, don't use that. Just use regular model glue or
model
at the
glue never
end
worked on the regular
maybe.
AMT Enterprise kits when I was a kid. Those things always fell down, always.
Yeah, and that part always broke. It broke on mine too. Same deal. The the fallopian tube, and then whatever the other tube, the eustachian tube, I think is the other one. The
Yeah.
fallopian leads to the eustachian, and then yeah.
He's right. Kevin was right. This thing is tiny. It's Tom Corbett's Space Cadet. It's a tinfoil hat that you can wear while watching the TV show.
It's really cool. Can we see the graphics on the bill? I want to see the right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks neat.
Yeah, this could only be worn by possibly a 4 or 5-year-old.
So you think that was maybe a supermarket giveaway? I mean, I'm just looking at that, wondering what that was.
Well,
Like
I
why
don't
there's so
know. It
many, you know what I
says
mean? Just,
lot large. This is a large, man. What did the small look like? And then this is where there was something to shield your eyes from the cosmic rays, I guess. Let's see what these people are saying in the chat. Let's see. Maybe someone's got some. Missing Mars eustachian tup is what allows the air to the inner eardrum. Yeah, tube. Yeah,
exactly.
we're joking. Actually, we're not being serious.
Exactly.
We're
That's
laughing
why they.
about the USS Enterprise and what you call those tubes. We know that
I'm giving it all I've got, Captain.
yeah, we're
giving it
trying
all
to be
she's
funny.
got.
We know we don't really think they're fallopian tubes. It's our sense of humor. Um, but thank you for keeping us on our toes. Okay, now I was told to be very careful with this.
What is it?
This he
Oh,
said, be
must
very careful when you pull. Okay, there's lamb chop, um, and he said inside of lamb chop it's very delicate. He's used lamb chop to so I've got to be
He's
really
he's
careful because he
he's
said this
inserted
is
something
a
into
very
the lamb
brittle.
chop.
He said it's going to be like she's giving birth.
Yeah,
So
it's like that movie with Audrey Hepburn and Alan Arkin called Wait Until Dark, right? Remember there was a teddy bear that came that had some drugs in it. Yeah, it was
yeah,
like it was a lot like this, and they tried to
I
murder her, and
I
she was
remember
blind.
stories about Richard Gere back when I was in 8th grade that were like this.
Yes, that's what it reminds me of, that one as well. It's also like that
Oh, I see what
colonoscopy
he
that I have to
did.
go back
Oh
for
my
every year
gosh.
to give birth.
Okay. He wrapped the Batman. He's wrapped it in the Batman thing. Okay.
I like how you didn't even have to take lamb chop to dinner. Nothing. Not even a movie. You
Yeah.
just put your hand right in there.
Well, okay. This is what was being protected. Um, I've got
Oh,
to somehow get a facsimile loaf of bread to put inside this bread wrapper.
does
Something
it look
vaguely the shape of a loaf of bread.
does it look like a real old wrapper?
It's a
It is.
never used.
Well, you
Clearly,
know what
yeah,
you could
it's
do?
clearly a never used one from
I mean, I've seen
six.
some of these videos on YouTube. Apparently, the preservatives in the food nowadays makes them last for decades. So you could go buy
Yeah.
a brand new loaf of bread, put it inside of that old wrapper, and then put it on the shelf, and it would just look like will just fossilize into. Actually, I think the bread will just stay soft for years and years. I heard.
That's Captain Midnight. Hot
Uh,
Ovaltine, the heart of a hearty breakfast. And then you got to be real careful because he's got stuff hidden everywhere. His little tiny Captain Hook in here, man. Shit. The cats are having fun with all the little. I guess I should just keep those in the Captain Midnight cup until later. Oh my gosh. So it's white enriched bread.
oh, great, man.
Okay.
you can like make a fake loaf of bread and put it in there.
So it's amazing simulation of lamb chop. My God.
What was Lamb Chop's deal? I think Lamb Chop was an innocent, right? Wasn't that Lamb Chop's deal? Was that she was like, "Oh, I'm an innocent," right? And she didn't know what was
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
yeah. I would always get Lamb Chop and Sherry Lewis mixed up with Kukla, Fran, and Ollie because both of those shows were off the air by the late 50s and were only existed during my childhood in little tiny segments introducing children's movies from Sweden, I think was Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. But apparently in the 50s, that was actually a show that adults watched that was really pretty sophisticated humor, but it was not, the segments weren't long enough to get that across to kids in the
No, it was an
70s.
interesting show. I've watched some of it. It was almost like a Good Morning America show with puppets, as weird as that sounds. It was like a New York half-hour New York TV morning show. I think it was live with those puppets, Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. It
Yeah,
was so
that's what I
strange.
understand.
It's hard to even watch because it's so topical and locational to the time and to New York City that a lot of it it's not funny or interesting even.
Well, it probably wasn't funny or interesting even then, but there weren't many channels on television.
Yeah.
Uh, shit. Okay. What are there any new comments? What do these people say? I heard PETA was not a fan of Mr. Gear, says Last Frontier.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Well,
I don't know how many incidents there were. I only heard about that one. I didn't really know that there were. So I don't know how he would get on PETA's radar unless it was a repeat thing that was going on. I just heard about that one time that we all
yeah.
heard, I think, around the same time, maybe about 1988 or something when I first heard about that. I'm guessing. I don't remember.
Something that's weird is I think this box went through Rockford, Illinois, and then at the bottom it says Midge Toys, Rockford, Illinois. This is little
Cool.
rocket cars. The box arrived in Rockford, Illinois, then it went this way. These are little Flash Gordon-y looking rocket cars.
Yeah, they're cool.
I was supposed to get a silver one, but I got, there's a silver one that didn't wind up here, but it's all right. Ugh. My gosh. I'm just putting more stuff on the pinball machines. That was not really my goal.
Yeah, maybe it was a humiliation ritual. I think I heard that before. I think I heard that was. I'm just reading what Greta's comment was. I think I've heard that as a possible, whatever. It's a theory that is something that happened to his career at one point because he didn't comply. He didn't agree to do things that certain people in power wanted him to do. So not only did he not work for a while, but they put out that negative press about
that probably was. Maybe that was the humiliation. Yeah. Okay. All right. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I swear they've got this thing where I have to click on something, share your referral link, which I don't even know what that means. And yeah, you can't read. This is meant for people that are doing this on a computer. I can't. Someone's gonna have to read the comments for me. It's
I'll
too
do it.
much of a drain.
Yeah, I'll keep up. I can do it quicker. It'll be easier.
Yeah, just tell me what person is saying what, whatever the heck.
Yeah, I will.
All right.
I'll keep an eye on it.
Got some big little books. Got a little Abner. Um,
And
like
Greta said so he's probably kind of decent or tried to be, and I don't have any reason to think he isn't.
no, I shouldn't spread those rumors about him. It's just a rumor that spread for some reason when I was in middle school, junior high. I think there was something
Yeah,
about
I
Rod
guess it was
Stewart
before
too,
you
but
go.
we
I don't
probably don't want
know.
to talk about. But
What was that? The Rod Stewart one?
I think there was a Rod Stewart one. I don't know. I think it's just stuff that spreads around schoolyards, probably because people don't like a particular actor or something.
These are great. That's a really neat one, man. Really neat cover.
Yeah.
I like the binding on these and how neat they look when they're on the shelf because they're so
Right.
wide. Yeah, and there's graphics there. It looks really cool.
See, there's some that are called better little books. And someone once explained to me the difference between big little books and better little books, and I forgot immediately. I did finally get one Tarzan book. Because Jambo and Captain Strangelove were faster at me at shouting, I want that, on the first two. And a Blondie. Dagwood and Hot Water.
As I mentioned
Okay.
before, these make excellent fire starters. Like you might want to keep a couple of these in the trunk next to the jack and next to those road flares, because you could just set one of these on fire and go right up. And it makes a nice little, you could like boil some ramen, cup of coffee.
Yep. Graphic Man says, tell Gratu that Dick, that I can't read anything else. That
Oh, let
Dick
me read it.
Tracy book
Hold on,
looks
I didn't see
fabulous.
it. He says, tell Gratu that Dick Tracy book looks fabulous. Great spot.
all I saw was tell
That's what
Gratu
she
that
said.
Dick. I
It wouldn't be
swear
the
they
first
made it
time
so
somebody called
impossible.
me a dick and told me that I had a great spine and I looked fabulous.
Um,
Just a regular Friday night for me. Oh, there's another one.
If you guys in the chat would just come on
Hey,
the
they got
show
your
and talk,
feedback.
it would really be helpful. Here's the link to come on the stupid show. Wait, I can't even press the button until I turn it sideways. Oh, this
Justin
sucks.
says, hey, they got your tea back. What does that mean? Is he talking about my song?
Yes,
Is he talking about
no,
my
I've
song?
been drinking damn Dr. Pepper and Coke
Oh, the tea that
because
you drink. I
I
thought he was talking
they're
about
still sold out at the gas station.
man.
But I finally got a bottle. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I've gained probably God knows how many pounds drinking that crap. Um, Man, the amount of work that Kevin went through to do all this is unbelievable. Okay, here's some really ancient books that I'd forgotten about from that first night, the first night of frantic. I want that. I want that. And this is like a just a book. It's like this is probably the first graphic novel. Always people say first graphic novel came out in 1948. These look like
Is
graphic
this
novels to
considered
me as much as anything else I see.
this is platinum age? Is that what this is? Is this predates
I suppose that's what the
Action
people would
Comics
call it.
#1?
This from blah, blah, blah. It's got to be from the 20s. Um,
I remember I heard Jambo say the other day that he had that Skeezix he got. He said
yeah,
it was platinum age.
yeah, it's got to be platinum age. This was at one point at half price books for $20. Um, Never Say Die. It says 1930. This one has a sticker that tells you.
Cool.
That sounds completely plausible. Yeah, so that would predate the golden age. Yeah. I see. I've got to put these things where the cats will not destroy them. Yeah, I got little kittens all around me right now. Hold on. I've got a commercial I got to cut out here. Oh God! I have the remote over here. Yeah, I'm recording today's Alex Jones program, and he had a great interview with Tucker Carlson last night. So I'm trying to record it, and uh, Rumble keeps putting commercials on. Man, that's amazing. People know all this stuff about my tea not being at the gas station. But it's amazing. People really pay attention when you talk, man. That's incredible to me. Oh, okay. Here's the other tray.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Captain Strangelove got one of these, but he didn't show it yet.
Yeah, it's great. It's so cool.
Yeah, see, these are the cat's claws going in my back.
So
This
what do
is
you think,
not
Shane?
a
So
replica. This is
it's the real ones. Yeah,
100% real. Yeah.
very heavy and solid. Whatever the process, the printing process. It's I guess a tin lithograph. It's a very high quality version with color
Yeah.
separation and detail. She's beautiful, and I get the feeling when I look at that you're sitting at a lunch counter and you're just meeting her at like at a Woolworths or at a bus depot is what it looks like to me.
Now,
That's just
see,
what it
this is a
reminds me of.
fake one that I've had, but it's just, well, plus it has the little, on the back it says Coca-Cola made in China and 2002. Yeah, that Coca-Cola stuff is always dated. Coca-Cola signs, are always have dates on the back. That one that I just showed you, I didn't see one, but signs that would be that's not meant to be hung in a store, but ones that hang in stores or outside stores are always dated. Um, so I knew someone that was one of the stepping on bubble wrap. I knew someone that was a huge Coca-Cola collector. That's where I get that information. Okay. Well, I guess we're getting into the comic book stuff.
Here we go. Greta says, I appreciate that there's good viewers, good spirit that aren't trolls or Norman Bates type weirdos. And Justin said, I'm just an average everyday weirdo. And then Greta says, just like us. Thank goodness law.
Well, good. I StreamYard has made it very difficult, but I once I have the mobility of doing the show on my phone, I don't want to go back. Maybe even turned on my laptop and probably a long time. I probably should turn it on just to make sure it still works. Um, but the one of the keys stopped working, and that discouraged me. I think it was the S key or some key that you use a lot. I think it was the R key, so I couldn't even type gratu. I'd have to be gatu.
Huh.
And I don't know. I guess there's probably a way to get some air spray, something. I don't know how you fix it. Or I could get a separate keyboard and hook it up to my laptop. But this is a heavy box. And there's still a lot more to go. And see, this is kind of my birthday present. My birthday's coming up on Easter Day, and so
Oh,
this
it's
is
Easter this year. Wow, what a day this year. So it's Easter, it's your birthday, and you know who else's birthday it is? Charles Nelson Riley. A lot of people didn't realize that it's also Charles Nelson Riley's birthday. A lot of people think it's someone else's birthday, like
yeah.
maybe Gratu's or maybe like pot smokers like to smoke a lot of pot on Gratu and
Oh,
Charles
that was
Nelson Riley.
terrible. When did that happen?
It
About 20
started, I
years
think,
ago, they started making my birthday a pot day.
I don't know when exactly it started, but at one point, when I came back from the Army, and it was about 1992 or 1993, and I'm back in town, and my oldest friend had a motorcycle, and on the back of his helmet, he had a sticker that said 420, and I thought it was like a racing sticker. I said 420. I said something like, I said, what's the number on the back of your helmet? And he goes, that's 420, dude. And I go, what is that? What's 420? And I had no idea what it meant until that moment. He says, and I think he explained it to me at that point by telling me that's the time of day that everybody is supposed to smoke pot. And I was like, really? I never heard of that
Because you're
before.
just getting home
So
from
that's just
school,
something
but
that,
most people are still at work at that point.
I don't know. I never heard of it before until that point, that conversation, which was about 1992 or 93.
Yeah, I don't know who invented that.
And
It's
I immediately thought, I was like, well, so if you have that sticker, doesn't it mean if you're a pot smoker, and would you really want to have that on the back of your motorcycle helmet? Like, what if, wouldn't the cops see that, know that you're a pot smoker? Like, isn't that kind of like a doofus move? Anyway, let me
yeah.
check the chat. What would they call that? Blowing up your own spot? Like narking on yourself? Let's see. I'm going back up. I've got about 5 to read. It's
Okay.
crazy what people come across when you put yourself out there, Greta said. And then I Am One of Us replied, thanks, Greta. And Missing Mars says, Greta, hello. Hope all is well. Thank you guys a whole bunch for making it still fun and worth it, said Greta. I'm going to give
Oh,
one of
good.
these
Well,
assholes
thank you.
a phone
She's saying
call.
all the nice things that I should be saying.
Yeah, but wait, there's one more thing. She's going to give all of these assholes, or one of these assholes, a phone call. If he doesn't stay away, I'm going to come on the channel and read the audience here an interesting news article. That's
What?
a great. And then Library 88 says, that's a great birthday treasure trove. Happy birthday month, Gratu. And I hope the chat stays peaceful with everyday weirdos. Ha ha, Greta. Graphic man, I can be on in a minute. I'm having trouble with my phone.
He could be gone in a minute. Is that what he's saying?
On. He said he should
Oh,
be on, or
on in a minute. Oh, shit.
in
Yeah,
a minute.
okay.
He's just having trouble with his phone.
I thought you meant I could be gone in a minute. My phone's about to, remember when all those phones were exploding in people's
It's the big
pockets?
one. We could all be gone in a minute. It's the big one. Quick,
Um,
get into the
okay.
bathtub or something like that. I guess we're all supposed to get into our bathtubs.
Yeah, or duck under your school desk. That always helps you. That protects. Okay, man. Well, Meyer got 50 million Joe Palooka comics, and then the ones that
I really
that were
did.
doubles of I got, because I only have 1 or 2 Joe Palooka comics, and I was admire someone I trust, and he said Joe Palooka is really fun to read, and I thought, man, these covers are
It really
great.
is. I
And this
read
is
one. I started last night. I'm so happy to have these. I started reading last night. I love them so much. I mean, I
number
really like them.
32.
And to me, Joe Palooka is, in a way, it's one of those things. It's almost like punk rock. It's like you don't want anybody to know how good it is, because you don't want everybody to like it, because one of the things that's cool about it is that no one knows how good it is. Is how I would
Yeah,
describe
that's
it.
kind of my problem when I came on this, and started talking about how good Bob Hope is. Jerry Lewis comics.
Again,
It's like,
blowing
why
up
don't I
your own
keep?
spot is how we used to
Because
call
the
it.
stuff that I like is stuff I was thinking about this morning, about 4:30 this morning. I couldn't sleep. Is that I got into all this from Mad and Cracked. One of the happiest days in my life was when I got biggest, greatest cracked number 2. I think that's what issue it was. I was in kindergarten, and told my mom she went and got it from the Base Exchange, and I couldn't. I was so happy with that early '60s John Severin art and monster magazines, and Dennis the Menace. Jay North passed away the other day, and I was thinking, man, I'm so glad. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but I'm so glad that I was exposed to Dennis the Menace comic books and the newspaper strip in paperback form. And I never got to see that
Before that
TV show
show,
until years later, because I thought
yeah.
he was so creepy and too old for the role. He
Yeah.
looked like he was 12, and
And
he
he's
was,
like kind of creepy, like that Bad Seed little girl. His
yeah, and he had the
delivery of his
bad
line.
seed.
And so I was like you in that I loved those Scholastic reprint books of Dennis the Menace, and I also had comics that my mom brought home to me. So I loved the characters from the show and Dennis himself. but I didn't watch that TV show until I was about 15 years old. Maybe it came on syndication when I was in high school, and I was so disappointed that this is Dennis the Menace. I was like, this kid is Dennis the Menace. It's just not good at all.
But
But the
everything else in
parents
the
are
show
great.
was pretty good. The
parents are
casting,
good. Mr. Wilson is good.
the parents looked like just like they were drawn. It just he was
Exactly.
creepy, and that's the thing about. But when I was a kid, I'd see the comics that came out in the early '70s. It's like, oh yeah, they're fun. But then I get these reprints, and I even as a little kid, I knew they were reprints because the art style was different. It was more malicious what he did, and I could well, I really could tell because there were old cars, and I was smart enough to figure out even at 5 or 6, oh, this is not, this is from years ago before I was born. That stuff was brilliant. Let's
Hello,
see, who could,
Pauline. Pauline
oh, it's
says hi.
Graphic Man. Graphic Man.
Hey, hey.
Hey there.
There he is.
Um, maybe I should have a
Yes.
maybe I should have a window of layout. Let's see how the layout works here, man. Like this. Yeah, that's okay.
That's what the girls used to call it in high school. They'd go lay out.
Yeah, that's where did you hear the layout term? Oh, the layout. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
said you gotta do
yeah, I
that.
laid out this week. They
Are you
were
guys gonna go lay out at the pier?
There was this girl named Gretchen that was the head of the cheerleaders, and she later became, I think, Miss Texas. And she'd go lay out, and she would turn as brown as that radio over there. It's like what were these girls? I imagine by the age 30, they just look like parchment. Here's Smitty. It's a famous killer named Smitty in the 50s. Look him up.
I used to like how did you ever see how certain people's hair would turn kind of green from all the chlorine, like if they were already blonde?
Yeah.
And they spent a lot of time in the pool, then these girls would have like green hair a little bit, right? Remember that?
Uh,
Probably
Maybe I
doesn't
don't
happen
remember
anymore.
that. That might be a California thing.
No, it was a thing. Micah remembers.
Yeah.
I had a
Okay.
buddy they were all really blonde, and his two little sisters hung out by the pool the entire summer, and they were super tan, and they had green hair, like a tint of bleach blonde green hair.
This is from 1946 because I see it on the back. That's how the professional comic book people, they always have cheat sheets on the back. I know Graphic Man does that. Mike, I'm sorry about all the shit that's happened over the last year. Hopefully everything can
Oh.
be okay now.
Oh, yeah.
My feelings were hurt, and I guess I hurt their feelings. But then I figured everybody was joking about old age, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like it seems like everyone was forgiven but me. But then I think I'd done other things in the past, like make fun of their theme song and stuff. And so maybe and then when you started your own show, you said, "Well, I'll have you on in like 12 or 14 weeks." And I'm saying, "What? 12 or 14?" I thought that was like my dad used
Oh,
to
no.
say, I'll give you that second Tuesday of next week."
I just wanted to give you extra time because I would love to see those Batmobiles one day, but
Yeah, but I thought, man, I was one of the original
no.
founders
Oh
of the
yeah, definitely.
files. And it's like, why am I
Definitely.
not? I thought everybody hates me now, man.
No.
Well, I don't know, man. This is kind of like what my mom used to draw, the Tilly the Toiler
Tilly.
profile pose. Dan. Well, this is Harvey. Harvey would do these ancient comic strip adaptations. This could use that flattening. This also looks like it went through a fire.
Yeah.
So I bet this has a nice aroma when it gets that. That's where Bill Everett got his signature. Look at that. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Bill Everett studied that for his
Okay.
signature. 100%. Because this stuff is there's a feeling of
So that's a spin-off of Life with Father. Is that what that is?
Yes.
That's a spin-off of Life with Father. Those were
Bringing Up
Maggie and
Father, right?
Jig. Maggie and
Bringing Up.
Jigs were the most popular characters from the radio show,
Well,
I
it's
think.
like Nancy was a spinoff from Fritzy Ritz, right? And
In Popeye.
Popeye's a spinoff from Thimble Theater. It's just like, Happy Days spins off Laverne and Shirley, and sometimes the spinoffs are what you remember because we're getting back into 100 years old territory here. Not with this Harvey, but the
Yeah, I
original
just
comic
know about
strip.
this from hearing my aunts and my mother talk about it. Like talk. I
Or,
mean,
or
I've heard them say those names, talk about those radio shows.
or about it from reading in paperback form EC comics making fun of these comic strips that haven't changed in decades. So we're talking about
Yeah,
1952, 53. They're making fun of these old-timey comic strips, and I know them from the parodies, and they were, which are already 70 years old, and they were so. And, I grew up with parents that were much older than my contemporaries. They were both born in the 20s, and
same thing. I
listening to
grew up
old
around
time
old
radio that I
people.
checked out of the library. So I know about the past, but most people our age don't remember this stuff. And
It was
anyway,
in it was in my newspaper here in Missouri in the 70s. I remember
yeah.
reading them. Yeah. Of course,
Yeah,
that
there will always
could have
be
been
some of those
rerun.
old strips that were in there for the old folks that were our age. They were the old folks. Um, I remember Micah like being amazed that I had some old gold key Scooby Doo's. So I figure that apparently people really are seeking after these now. This is a 1972.
Well, anytime you see one, you got to get $30 together to buy it. So,
Really,
yeah.
I
Why
think
is
this
that?
was just a few dollars. Well, it's such an in-demand character. That's an
That's why. It's because it's specific people that just collect Scooby Doo that aren't
Yeah.
actually even comic book
And they
collectors.
don't
well,
let them
Similar
go.
to the
well,
Munsters or Bewitched comics are also kind of overpriced, I think, and the Munsters too,
Yeah.
right? A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, but Scooby Doo is even kids know Scooby Doo because they've always. And it's not like the Funky Phantom or something. Okay. Oh, it's Bill Flint, the lone wolf killer. In this issue of Crime Does Not Pay. Are there any interesting comments there?
Yeah, I'm going over them right now. I'm going to head back up. We got a bunch of people saying hello to Pauline and to Micah and Library
What did
88.
Pauline say?
She said hello. She
Oh,
rolled
okay.
in and said hello, friends. She's here. A couple comments ago. Library 88 to 27 people are watching. Hit the thumbs up, lurkers, and then a lot of thumbs up. And then Greta says, "Well, it's over. There is a God. Amen." So
What's
let's just
over?
have a good time now, as
Oh,
Dr. Five said.
Yeah.
You guys are all good
yeah,
people.
man. I don't know. I didn't. How that
There's
happened.
seriously bad
I
people out there, and
guess.
no one that got weird on each other is that. I can't remember what I had for lunch, Jackson Roykirk said. That was
You
funny.
can't, huh?
And then Library 88 said that Scooby-Doo is a beaut. That was
It's a
funny.
butte. Oh, okay. Um.
For
Okay.
example, I only have one Scooby Doo.
Really, the
And
ones I have, I bought when I was a kid, but I think I've got like
I don't
what
I,
5 years
had
on
some of
you.
them.
How old are you, Micah?
I'm just
55.
5 years. I'm 5 years younger than you. So
Oh, Jesus is talking. You hear that? I've got this Darth
What did he
Vader.
say?
It's James
oh,
Earl Jones every hour
Oh, it's
reads
5 o'clock.
Bible verses.
You've been on for an hour.
Uh, yeah, apparently. I'll open all these when I'm like on a Saturday, early Saturday morning during when I'm not doing it live, because then I can get better photography of it. This is how would you pronounce that? Kaanga? I don't know what these little little
I've heard
things
people
around the
pronounce
letter.
it Conga because that's a character. That was a regular character, Conga Jungle Lord. He's from the pulps. Micah's probably seen that a lot in pulp books, pulp
Yeah,
magazines,
but
right?
why? What's going on with the little things around
I
the
mean, I
middle
guess you're
way?
supposed to go cut onga. I don't
Ka,
know, but I
ka,
think it's just
kaonga, kaonga,
Kaonga.
kaonga.
Yeah,
Serve the
maybe
Lord
Kaonga.
in
That
Tavern of
might
the
be it.
Golden Bones.
You're right. It probably is Kaonga.
Kaonga. It's
Yeah,
Kaonga. It's not Conga. It's Kaonga.
Kaonga. Yeah, there's a distinct difference with the dialect
he,
difference.
he looks just like he's Flash Gordon. He's just completely.
Yeah, he's like Alan Ladd kind of or something. There's something. Yeah.
In reality, guys that were in the jungle fighting animals would be completely covered with scars. I wish they would do that in a Tarzan movie, the way he's described in the books. Okay, man.
Greta says it has Jesus on the face of that clock, but it's that voice. I know it's funny. It is funny.
That's what Gary has that mound of Darth Vader helmets. It's really amazing. He needs that clock back behind it. But what I want to
Well,
do,
the
they've got the whole
technology is
Bible
there for
on YouTube, so you don't have to pay for it. You could record
yeah,
24 hours of James Earl Jones reading it.
or
I mean,
anyone's voice. Like
well,
You
he
mentioned
has
Jabberjaw earlier. You could have
James.
Jabberjaw doing Bible verses. The technology is there that all you would need to do is upload the file, and it could be anyone's voice. It didn't,
Well,
that could be funny.
well, James Earl Jones just has that voice. It's like Charlton Heston. It just got that gravitas. But if he's reading something, it's brilliant. But there was they hired him for, what was it? The Mystery of Al Capone's Vault. No, that was Geraldo Rivera.
It would be great if it was something funnier, like if it was Foster Brooks, or who was that country guy that his whole bit was that he stuttered? Who was the
Mel
guy that was?
Tillis?
Yeah, Mel Tillis. So it would
Yeah.
be funny if it was Mel Tillis, or if it like the other person that I just said earlier that was funny too. Foster
Well,
Brooks would be hilarious if it
well,
was
Mel
just that.
Tillis could sing, but he just, when he talked, he started.
Be awfully slow. It'd take a long time on the hour, because he's really
Yeah.
slow.
Well,
He's
I don't
burping.
want to distract you. Can you get that Kaonga back in your hands?
I think it's
yeah, you want to breen me?
No, I just want to see the spelling. Okay, yeah, there's just two A's. I have one, and I thought, well, maybe I have different name or different spelling, but it's the same spelling. So, yeah.
Anyway, James Earl Jones was on a live show where he was supposed to be the authoritative voice, and it was one of these breaking into Al Capone's vault kind of. Anyway, there was some downtime because there was something wasn't working right, and you realize this guy is really dumb. He can't wing it at all. He just sounds like a moron when he doesn't have something in front of him. If he has the Bible to read, he sounds amazing. But if he doesn't know what to do next, it's just like a total person with mental deficiencies. Anyway, did I just show you this Howdy Doody from 1953?
No, but it's cool. It's a really nice food cover. That's a great food cover, like a crazy food cover.
This
Very
one, I
detailed.
think, was a reject. No one wanted it, and I took it, even though, because I just wanted to read a full issue of The Fly. He said it's got a split down to there, so issue of The Fly. The Fly is something I don't have much of. Okay, this I got. Wow, it looks good in this. This is the first issue of Conan I ever bought off the newsstand, and this one he had for a couple bucks, and I thought maybe it's an upgrade from my one that I got in second grade, and it's got a little bit of a spine. It's really nice. This is how I was introduced to this character. Mystery in Space number 83.
And that Conan cover, I think that's Gil Kane with Marie Severin drawing the faces. Bring it back up. Look.
Yeah.
Or someone, or John Severin. Look at his face. Is that John Severin or Marie?
Well,
I mean, it's
you can really tell from faces. You're right with Marie Severin. I would buy that's a Marie Severin face on the girl and him.
But everything else looks like Gil Kane. I mean, Gil Kane pencils, I guess.
Yeah, I would like to know because I've always loved this cover. It's what got me into all that. I mean, I got into everything through humor magazines, Mad and Cracked, and Monsters. And Monsters got me into Ghost Rider and the Monster of Frankenstein and Werewolf by Night. And then I got into the Fantastic Four, I guess, through the Thing. And then I discovered all the Marvel heroes. Um, okay, it's Little Audrey and Melvin, number 28.
That's cool.
There's Archie's Pals and Gals, number 17. Says summer of 61 on the back.
Wow. Roasting a weenie on the beach.
This one coming up is one I've been looking for years. It's got kind of not really a subscription crease because it goes to the side. It's got a crease from hiding it in your binder when you're in school. It's an issue of Jughead number 78. That's all right. I mean, it's
Oh yeah, that's so good.
this is a 1964 issue. Do you have this one, Mike? I think you have a bunch of Monster Archies.
Not that one, no.
It's
That's gorgeous.
the issue after this is the one that had the creature from the Black Lagoon coming out of the pool, which I'm positive I have, but I keep forgetting that I have it. Every time I open that box, I say, I didn't know I had this. But
What's the year?
because
61 it says on it?
no,
On
this
the
is
back?
more like 60. Does it say that?
Well, I thought you said on the back it said summer 61, but maybe that
No,
was the other
that was
was
this
the other
one.
thing.
This is 64.
So what I was going
The,
to say is that this thing that we're looking at here, the thing, this book, and then the creature book that comes after this all came from the Universal television package that was
Shock
the
Theater.
the late night monster movies thing, that a fad that had begun, that started the monster craze. It's pretty cool
Yeah,
when you
it
think
was
about
a
it.
fad, but it was a fad that lasted from like
Yeah, it's more than a fad.
1957 all the way through the 70s. So
Not a
uh,
fad, a craze. More than a fad.
craze.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
else. Yeah, a devotion, something new.
Yeah, it's like the superhero movies that started in with Iron Man. You wouldn't call that a fad. What do you
It was the
call that?
reason why when the new TV guide would come in the mail when I was like 12, the first thing I would do would thumb through it to look and see what monster movies were playing late at night on those UHF channels that played them, like throughout the week, looking to
That's
see what's coming on. Some
what
30-year-old black and white movie that I was
what's
interested
been forgotten is how Frankenstein's monster became a huge cultural character in the early 60s, and everyone's forgotten that enough that Boris Karloff got his own TV show. I mean, the Monster Mash was it was an imitation of Boris Karloff's voice, and he got a resurgence in his career. And when the Beatles hit in '64, there were songs like "The Beatles Meet Frankenstein" because
in.
that's what they replaced.
There were
They didn't replace
Frankenstein movies
Elvis
that
because
didn't
Elvis had
even have
already been
Frankenstein.
taken out of the. I'm sorry.
I was going to say there were Frankenstein movies that didn't really even have Frankenstein in them, like Frankenstein meets the outer space monster, or
Yeah.
Godzilla versus Frankenstein. It's not really Frankenstein. They were just using that name.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Captain Marvel 64.
What's
I
going on in
was
that cover? A big police officer on the
There's
cover.
a little man who wasn't there. It's like a little Martian guy. There's got to be better light than this, man. Um, Largest circulation of any comic magazine. Anyway, he's doing a Bronx cheer. That's supposed to be a fart noise. And
Oh,
and and Captain Marvel's saying, "Shut up, you fucker." He says, "No, no, Lester, you
oh,
can't
I think
do
the
that."
cop is
And he's
thinking
going,
Captain Marvel. Yeah,
and
he's
of
thinking
course
Captain
he's
Marvel
gonna think
gave the
it's
Bronx.
Captain Marvel was making the fart noise, and it's this little invisible Martian. This I was reading about Otto Bender because I was kind of curious about Adam Link. Somewhere I've got an Adam Link paperback that reprints the Adam Link stories. But I've always like Adam Link. He was in the Warren magazines. Well, wait a minute. He was in the EC Comics, and he was also in pulp magazines. Like, what's the story with Adam Link, this robot character? And I realized, okay, he started in Amazing Stories in '39, written by Otto Bender and his brother, and they did these stories that were really influential. And then in the EC Comics, Otto Bender came back and was writing adaptations of his stories in the pulps with Joe Orlando drawing them. And then when Joe Orlando started creepy for Warren, he brought his friend back and they started doing more Adam Link stories. So there's stories for, and I don't know, maybe there's been other Adam Link, but that's a character that means a lot to those guys that would now be about 90. Adam Link. In fact, the first Adam Link story was called I, Robot. And then Isaac Asimov was saying, I tried to tell my publisher, don't call the book I, Robot because it's already been done with the. Anyway, Otto Bender then went on to write most of the Captain Marvel, like over 1,000 of these books, Marvel Family and everything. And then he worked for DC and created Crypto and Brainiac. And it's like, man, Otto Bender is not a name that comes off people's. When do you hear people say it? In fact, I thought it was Otto Binder until, honestly, I've always pronounced it Otto Binder. But it's like, why don't people? He did everything. He worked for everybody.
I always pronounced it that way in my head too. I always pronounced it auto binder in my head, but I've never said it. I never said it aloud until right now.
No, I haven't either. But I wanted to look it up because I knew he was like Austrian or something. So I turned on someone on YouTube that looked like they knew what they're talking about. And said Bender.
Library 88 says the lighting is good from what I can see. And then
All right,
Greta,
that's fine. I'm seeing.
Greta mentioned something about she just filed the extensions for state and federal.
Yeah, we've got to file an extension on our income tax. There's some weird stuff. They charged us. They thought we didn't have health insurance last year. Both of us have it. So then we realized, why did we have to pay $1,300 instead of getting a refund? You know, we weren't supposed to, but apparently it was all screwy. And then, yeah, weird things happening. We can figure this out.
She said she's sorry for her job being so lame too. I didn't want to leave that part out.
Oh, okay. Well, nothing to be sorry
I want to
about.
include all of the comment messages that I find appropriate, and I'll do that.
This is Super Duck, which Meyer, you said is pretty shitty, but
yeah, it's still worth owning. But I was disappointed when I opened it because I bought it. Even though I bought one like 10 years ago and started buying those, and I was disappointed. It's so goofy that I kept buying them because it's what is it that called like a train wreck kind of. Even though it's not a quality comic, when you find it for inexpensive, the covers are cool, and then it's a real knockoff. It's a real low grade knockoff of Donald Duck. And that itself makes it charming because it was made by Archie. And so it's a legitimate company like Archie trying to knock off Donald Duck in a really bad way. So that's what's kind of interesting.
I can attest to that because right over here, I have my very first Super Duck. I just got it a few days ago.
Did you? And you disappointed as well?
I haven't opened it yet. The only Super Duck I ever read, I used to get those little Archie digests, and they reprint some of those every now and then, but the text would be so tiny and blurry, couldn't really understand what was going on.
Yeah.
So I finally was buying an auction, and with combined shipping, there was a Super Duck over there, and I thought I'll grab it too.
So, you got to tell us.
My comic shop or
no, just a regular buyer. In fact, he's a fan of mine. He wrote me a little letter saying, "Hey, graphic man, blah blah blah. Watch your show." So
that's weird when that happens because someone came into Kevin's store yesterday that lives in his town, and he said he watches the show and he's never been in the store.
Really?
A lot of people that just stopped going out at all after that pandemic, and they've just
very cool. Yeah.
And it's
Word is spreading. We've got some comments here. Library 88 says that Conan number 28 is Gil Kane, inked by Ernie Chan.
Oh,
The latter, the face, sometimes his faces are a tad Severnish. So he's saying that Ernie Chan did those faces, and I believe he's right. I
yeah.
see it now. And
Ernie
sometimes his
Chan's
faces are, yeah.
Ernie
So that
Chan.
was Gil Kane inked by Ernie Chan or Chua. And then John Goris
Yeah.
says, watched this gangster movie from '63 the other day, Johnny Cool. It had
Yeah.
Henry Silva,
Elizabeth
Sammy
Montgomery.
Davis, Kelly Savalas, and Elizabeth Montgomery.
Right.
It was kind of nasty, but cool. I've never seen that.
In real life, she was I don't want to, I'll be quiet. In real life, Elizabeth Montgomery kind of went through a lot of men, but I don't want to judge her for that.
Yeah, she is
But
absolutely beautiful. She's still one of my all-time
oh, of course,
favorites.
yeah. There's something really.
And a huge
She has a hell
personality.
of a lot of personality.
She is like
I
a
don't even know
surrogate
why I
mother
said
to my
that, but
little
I've
kid.
heard that I think she married them all, so maybe that's honest.
I would say that I fell in love with her when I was 4 years old from that TV show because it came on every day and I watched it every day. And in
Mhm.
my little kid mind, I kind of replaced my own mom with Samantha.
Yeah,
Library 88 says, sorry for a bit of spell prep gibberish in my last comment. No, I figured it all out, Library 88. We all did.
that's all right.
Moving right along.
I wish I should do a screenshot and show you guys what I'm dealing with. I mean, I'm looking at a screen that's about the size of a postage stamp, and then I can't read the comments because they've got something that says share your referral link over the comments. Have to turn my phone sideways. Anyway, this one is I have this issue, but it's like in shreds from my comic shop. Well, Lone Star Comics, Wounded Wonders pack, this adventure comics. Um, Supergirl was partly created by Otto Bender. Crypto, a lot of the stuff that makes Superman cool was created by him. And
Are you still going through that box?
yeah. Are you? What time is it? Are you still open?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
How
still
far are
going
you into
through
the
it.
box?
Well, I've still got two little things of comics, and then there's a bigger box at the bottom. I'm not sure what's in that.
Probably more comics.
Okay. Uh, I don't have any. I uh,
I'm surprised that fit through the door, that box.
oh yeah, man.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
it
this
used to be
is.
a furniture store. That's right.
But even then, this is. It's from the tips of my fingers to here. I mean, if
It's
you go
almost a
through.
cubit.
24, I think it was 24 inches wide, 2 feet
Yeah,
wide.
but the short, yeah. Well, the door is. I measured it. It's 3 of my feet across. It's not.
three
I mean, it
foot
got in
four.
this box got in your store. It's not that.
Yeah, they come in the store, but I know it's tight going through the door.
Oh yeah. Oh boy. Ooh, that looks nice. It's a Harvey Dick Tracy,
Yeah. Cruey Lou.
1954, and just says these are not the prices. He was just said, what was he doing, Meyer? Like $2. He was basically
That's an antique store price. When you go to an antique
yeah.
store,
It's
they want a lot of
it's
money for their
it's
comics. Even like a book I sell for $1, yeah, it's like five.
well, it's not that he was giving it away, but he was probably making sure he just didn't lose any money. It's probably about what he paid for the stuff is what he was giving it to us for. This is Mighty Mouse 3D,
Awesome.
I put
but
the glasses on the back. They were
yeah,
in the middle of the book.
these will work. They're not the actual original glasses, but they work.
If you smoked weed, I would tell you that's what you got to save that comic for when you smoke a little weed. You don't want to just jump into a 3D comic just completely sober. No,
Now,
Words to
this
live
one,
by.
yeah,
man,
60 years of experience.
this is probably the worst condition one of the bunch, but I don't know. I'm not sure why I would have gotten one in this condition unless. Were you on, Micah? Did you say this was a really good story or something, or that
I don't
night?
recall. I don't recall it.
I want to
I
blame it
got
on
it,
you.
but I don't recall the story.
What's going
Okay.
on? He's fixing the sink and the kids are messing it up and making it. What's happening?
It always takes way too long to try to figure out
Yeah,
what's going on, and that it's never funny
doesn't.
usually.
And then
It
usually you're
looks
disappointed when you
like
finally figure it out. You're like, oh,
oh,
all that for that? That's what I'll do sometimes. I'll be like,
it
wait, I
looks
just
like he's just
that's
keeping
the
them out
joke?
of the way by with a wrench, keeping them
Yes.
up on this pipe.
Okay.
But it's like once you figure it out, how often do you ever laugh? I remember I laughed so hard when I was a little kid at a Dennis the Menace comic. It's just because my mom didn't want me reading Dennis the Menace because she had been a teacher and
Mhm.
she thought I would speak with improper grammar, learning it from Dennis the Menace. But there was this one where he just says, "Why for?" And I thought that was so funny that he was saying "why for" instead of "what for." Man, I laughed for hours at that. And of course, years later, I would hear much worse. But
I still say why for.
"why for?"
Yeah, and I say swell.
But you don't say on tomorrow we will have a meeting or on yesterday. You don't say on yesterday, do you?
No,
Not that
no,
Dennis the Menace would.
no.
But anyway, won't get into that. That's a pet peeve of mine. This one is what can you tell us, Micah? This is 155.
Looks like a Barks cover. And they would do a similar gag on Huey, Dewey, and Louie, the Junior Woodchucks, all the time.
It says August 1953. Very good plus, fair minus.
Fair minus.
Fair
Fine.
minus.
Fine
Wait,
minus.
Must
I
be
think
fine
that's.
minus. Yeah.
Fine
Oh
minus.
yeah, fine
Yeah.
minus.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't
No
remember.
problem.
Um,
What we're here for. Let me
Oh,
check
hello, Missing Mark.
if there's anything important.
Oh, wonderful.
She was the perfect MILF, John Gorse said, talking about Liz Montgomery.
what is he saying?
John Gorse
I see.
talking about
Yes.
Liz Montgomery. He said she was the perfect MILF, and he is
Oh my
correct.
gosh.
She was like your friend from grade school's mom that you wished was your mom, but also you wished that she was like your girlfriend / wife, except that she's 30 and you're 4. So it was kind of a conundrum that you're facing in like first grade or kindergarten. You're like, I love this new kindergarten teacher. She's hot, but you're like 5. Remember that? I
Speaking
remember
of
it.
a conundrum, this looks like it was drawn on, but it's not. But then there actually is some kid did actually draw a little bit on it, so
Hmm.
you can't tell what's printed and what's drawn on it. But yeah, some kid. Yeah, this isn't in the best shape. Oh well.
So that's the Cats and Jammer Kids, I think, and I don't have any of those. That's the period when it was all reprints. A lot of comics, they're reprints
Yeah,
from newspaper.
this comic is all reprints from the newspaper.
And they would be in
So
Tip Top comics as well.
there was Tip
Yes.
Top, which
Yeah.
I think became Topper,
Yeah.
and then there was also this comic, and Tip Topper I think had Peanuts in it. Early
Uh-huh.
Charlie Brown.
And
Here's
Nancy
another
and
one. It says premium copy, non-returnable on there.
yeah.
Like Kevin's store here. This is from 1949.
I just got a little bit of mail.
What did you get in the mail?
I think I got a Blu-ray and maybe a book.
Oh, must be Mystery of the Black Museum or something.
No, I already got that. Man, the regular mail's taking forever. We need to start using UPS, I think, from now on.
Yeah. Yeah, because this box got to me exactly on the day. The previous the post office was like doing something where I forget the name of the city. Let's just say it was Indianapolis. It said something like leaving Indianapolis. I would follow the progress. Then the next day it would say arrives in Indianapolis, and the next day it would say leaving Indianapolis arrives. It was like sending it back and forth to the same store. Oh my gosh.
Hugo Mask Special.
Monster of Camp Sunshine. That's a dirty movie, I think.
Well,
It's a dirty movie. Is it really a dirty movie?
have
Well,
you
it's a
guys ever
nudist
heard?
colony movie. It's
I
a
think I've
monster
seen it.
running.
Have you ever seen a movie called Devil Doll?
Oh, you've got. Oh, I see. Oh,
There it
yes,
is,
I think I
Honeymoon
have. Yeah,
Pigeon.
that's a. What you got is, yeah, that's actually you got it because it had ads on the back. But yeah, it's actually a.
It has
Yeah,
two
it's
It's
movies. It has I got it for the second movie.
is that a something weird thing? Did it come out from?
It's a collaboration
Oh
between
yeah,
Something Weird and a GFA.
yeah, they're good. Yeah, that's like a nudist camp movie. It's not. Yeah, there's a
I
lot
can't
of
watch it in the store.
no. Do not watch that in this. I mean, it's like it's kind of innocent, but it's like a bunch of girls from the early '60s running around.
we're in Toddy Walnuts territory now, guys.
You might have recommended this to me.
Yeah,
No, it's good stuff. I'd recommend it to you as well. But
I love
yeah,
that
do
stuff.
not watch that in the store. Not okay. Well, I got a whole nother box to open here. Then Meyer, I don't know if you want to show anything from Meyer got a box yesterday and he hasn't shown any of that yet.
I can show some stuff.
I finally got my movie guide.
Psychotronic?
Yeah,
Good, yeah. Yeah, Michael Weldon's really good, the author of that.
I was recommended this book by a girl on YouTube.
Yeah, and me too. I recommend it.
John Gore
Yeah,
says Y4 sounds very old English, like something Shakespeare would use. And then Pauline Dowell says, I love
Oh,
Nancy and Sluggo. I like Nancy and Sluggo. I like the
yeah.
simplicity of how it's drawn. Like that cover
I
of the map is
I
really
overheard one time this
I
kid was
found a brand new
distraught.
copy. Doesn't look like it's ever been used. Because usually these things are beat up from
Yeah,
using them.
yeah, yeah.
This
That's
one-
good.
yeah,
And it
this
was
is
like
great.
$20.
I don't think of that as old, but I guess it is late '80s. But I guess that is old, but I can't. It's hard to accept that. Um,
Wait, this came out in the 80s?
I would. Well, the original one was probably about 84, 85. This one's probably a few years later. This is the sequel to the original one. It's not just an expanded version, it's completely different. The original book, you gotta,
This one has a price tag of $29.95.
well, that may have been about the price back then. I don't know.
This is like the 1996.
1996, really?
Hmm.
Oh, that was quite a few years later. Yeah, the
How do you tell
original,
what
I would
printing
say
is?
the original couldn't have been later than 86. So that must have been 10 years later.
Does this mean 10th printing? Is that what that means?
Yes.
Yes. Well, when was the first printing was what, 96?
I
Okay.
think 95 was the first printing. Yeah, up here it says 95. I don't know if that means anything. Up here
Um,
it says 96 though. Copyright 96.
okay. Yeah. I'm going through comments here. What are people
I can get
saying?
back to it. Wasn't Lucky Pierre Gordon Lewis's early nudie films? John Goris asked. I don't know what that means. Wasn't Lucky Pierre H.D. Lewis's
Lucky
early nudie
Pierre
films?
was that's from that's man, I don't know. I think that was
I don't know. Can you hear me?
uh, yeah, I
I
don't
think
know.
I disappeared for a second.
I don't know. I think they wanted to see the stuff you got or something. Yeah, this one's a little trashed. Christmas parade.
Well, I haven't gotten that far in the comments yet. I was still on John Goris
Oh,
asking about Lucky Pierre.
Lucky
That's a nice
Pierre.
issue.
Was that an early Russ Meyer movie, or was that Herschel Gordon Lewis? I don't know.
I don't know. August Aesthetic. When John mentioned Henry Silva, I recently saw again the Outer Limits episode with Silva meeting the chromite alien via teleportation. And then I gotta
Nice.
decline that. And then I Am One of Us asks for me to turn on my camera. I will in a little bit. Where am I? Something about Outer Limits. I think I heard a lot of Outer Limits production people later went on to work on Star Trek and design
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, that's true.
I might
Well,
lose connectivity here. Is
this is the end of it.
Does my audio sound okay, Micah?
Yes, I can hear you
Okay.
good.
I'm just asking because
Yeah,
I
it's
just
fine.
had to decline a phone call. You know how sometimes when the phone rings on the
Oh, yeah.
on my phone while I'm streaming, it
Yeah.
it does something. It interferes with Streamlab for a second, and then for the whole time after that, it doesn't reconnect properly. But I think I was able to decline it, and that didn't happen.
Well, let's see how many fingers I can cut off. I have no idea what else. I don't even remember anything else. Uh,
This stack of Joe Palookas is huge.
the what?
Great.
Oh, that's more comics. Oh my God. Damn, man.
So I opened mine. I got my comics from this same buy situation that Ratu was talking about yesterday, and I opened them and started going through them and looking at the comics last night, and I haven't even gone through all of them yet. But a few that I did go through. One of the ones that I opened up and went through last night is this Western Roundup #4. This is a 100-page giant quarterly Dell book that they came out with in the early and mid 50s, and it's all original stories and material. It's not like a reprint or an annual or anything. And what's cool about this is inside of here you find all kinds of really interesting things that you wouldn't know were there, unless you owned these comics and opened up and read them. But this whole section right here is about horsemen, and the art is amazing. The illustration and the information. It's like a full learning experience for a kid back in the 50s. Look at how beautiful this is.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful thing, but in reality, the reason it exists in the comic is so they could mail it cheaper by calling it a magazine. because they had a text feature in it. So there was really a very, there was a reason they did that. Oh my gosh, my God.
Great stuff. A really neat picture.
Does it specify who that is on the back?
Frame around the outside. It doesn't say who it is, and it doesn't say where this picture was taken. What he's looking at, the significance, it's kind of hard to see on the camera and everything, but way off in the distance up here is a trail of smoke, a smoke signal, and it's wisping into like a little design. So he's reading a smoke signal is what the implication here is.
Looking at the horse, could that be Champion? Gene
I don't
Autry's?
know. Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure. It doesn't say who it is. And I think this picture is Big Bear Lake in Southern California. I was looking
I've got
at
a
this
Champion here,
where this is.
and Champion's got that white in the middle of his face.
Maybe this is Gene Autry, but he looks too thin to be Gene Autry.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think this might just be a stock photo or a model. Maybe a model standing with one of the horses when they did these photo shoots.
Yeah. Stunt man, maybe.
Yeah.
So beautiful, right?
Definitely.
Let me know whenever you're ready, Ken, because I've got plenty of stuff to go over and talk about, because I read a full Joe Palooka last night, and I want to show it to you. And once again, I want to blow up my spot on Joe Palooka. I'm going to make you guys Joe Palooka fans if you help it.
I was trying to research Joe Palooka, and it said that what I was reading, which may not have been accurate, said that when the comic strip started, whenever the heavyweight champion changed, Joe Palooka would change to look like whoever was the current champion.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I've never heard that ever before.
It said that once. Yeah, it might have been fake, because they said as soon as the champion became, I guess, Joe Louis, they decided they would just keep him a generic guy with blonde hair, supposedly.
Yeah, that sounds like what do they
It
call it?
sounds like something they created to.
It sounds like a lot of hibbity jibbity to me.
Yeah,
I don't think that it has anything to do with any of that. He was the same guy the whole time. I'm pretty sure he's the same the entire time.
I think you're right. I've never seen Joe Palooka not look like you said, a grown-up Dennis the Menace.
Yes.
So this is an early issue. I think it's number 17. This is the one I read last night. It's from 1948, February 1948, and it's in incredible condition. Mike, I purchased a stack. I haven't counted them, but there's probably 30 Joe Palookas that I purchased. Look, this is all Joe Palooka. Maybe that's not 30. Maybe that's 25. I'm not sure, but it's all Joe Palooka that I got from Mike, and it's a big deal to me. It's like I just purchased a full collection that fills in all of my other spots. So none of these that I got were doubles. It's all the stuff that I love to collect. So this is an early issue. Number 17 is from Harvey Comics, 1948. And then in here is this great text feature that gives you the history of Joe Palooka, and it doesn't have anything in there about what Gratu was just saying. But there's a really nice photograph here of Ham Fisher.
Is this the same one?
He's got a smoke dangling out of his mouth, and his collar is out. He's and wait till I'm going to read some of this. You're going to love it. So this guy is kind of Will Eisner-like. Okay, not only is the art kind of in a similar way to Will Eisner, he had a shop, I think. We talked about this before. He had a bunch of people drawing for him in his style, I think. Anyway, listen to this. The story behind Ham Fisher's Joe Palooka. It says, when Ham Fisher started Joe Palooka, his idea was not only to entertain readers with the saga of a boy who made good in the toughest of all professions, but to make his character one that would be in good taste, have an influence on the youth of the land, in decency, sportsmanship, and clean living. Joe's character of a kindly, gracious knight, always protecting the weak and more unfortunate, in a short while made him America's most loved fictional hero. Okay, so Ham Fisher really is a salesman, man. He pumped up this IP of Joe Palooka. He really loves Joe Palooka, and he wants the whole country to believe that Joe Palooka is responsible for winning every war. The effect of Fisher's work was soon apparent. Churches, leaders, and civic welfare organizations were loud in their commendation. Here was a modern Galahad without the unbelievable fantasy. Joe, to quote an editorial, is a human being. He is one of us. He does what most of us don't do and can't do, but wish we could. Okay, so then it goes on. Compares Joe to Huckleberry Finn and a modern David Copperfield here. And it goes on. It talks about how Joe helped increase the popularity of boxing, and that there were some states that didn't, boxing was illegal until Joe Palooka became popular, and they opened boxing clubs for troubled youths and stuff. So then it goes on. Now we talk about the war. We talk about the 50 million readers a day, the syndication, but the part I wanted to get to that I really liked was at the end. So at the end, it says the State Department asked Ham Fisher to have Joe at the San Francisco Conference on Allied Propaganda. And in 1942, Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels called Ham Fisher the most effective counter-irritant to Nazi propaganda. Did you hear that? Ham Fisher said that Joseph Goebbels made a statement and said that Joe Palooka was the most dangerous part of counterintelligence propaganda to the Nazi war machine.
I'd like to see that, the proof of that, but I did see a Joe Palooka cover, like issue 5 or 6, where he's shooting a machine gun at Hitler's butt. Well, he has that big smile on his face.
Well,
So these are great
the-
comics. These comics are, like we mentioned earlier. What were you talking about earlier? That was more of an adult title. This is not a kid's comic, you guys. It's really understated,
I agree.
dry humor. It takes, sometimes there's physical humor and panel work that will take 6 panels for the joke to be told. Like, I'm going to show you one right now. So first of all, this panel is amazing, isn't it? So this is Nobby. He's Joe's boxing manager, and he's in an argument with this guy that's a passenger on their plane that crashed. And instead of calling this guy a bad word, he's got a picture of a devil like over his head in his thought balloon. But these two guys are getting in a fight, in an argument. The plane has crashed, Nobby and this other passenger. So they're really getting ready to fight, and they're fighting over a girl. And they're acting all tough. And then this deer is here on the shore watching them. And the deer just goes, moo, and calls out like a deer does. And they freeze. And then they run, scared. They run and run and run and run and run. And that's the joke. And they're running back to the plane because they're scared, and they think that there's a bear, and one of them says it's a cougar, and they saw it, and they're imagining all these things. But that's the whole joke. It's like 2 pages of a joke about a deer surprising them. But this is the type of stuff that I like, because I have a very similar sense of humor to this really dry. There's no laugh track in here, is how I would describe it. Like, there's a character in here that's a starlet that purposefully talks like kind of a valley girl, but it's like a 1940s style of a valley girl. And you can tell they're making fun of her and making it like she's kind of stupid. And then, so Joe, he leaves to go try and find civilization for the plane crash, to help everybody back there that's in the plane crash. But he kind of gets preoccupied and kind of loses track. It takes him 5 days. He's just taking it easy, like strolling through the woods. A lot of this whole story is him just kind of walking through the woods. He's fishing. See him here looking in the distance. Very little fighting in this. It's all like it's all gags that are made for adults.
The pages look pretty white.
Yeah. To lead credence to that German propaganda stuff, before World War II, they were really heavy on their guy, Max Schnelling, I think is his name.
Yes.
And he beat Lewis. He beat Joe Louis. And so they were saying, look, this is the German superiority. And then later Lewis beats him, and So I don't know. There could be something to that.
Yeah, I don't know. He's in these comics. He's fighting fictional. The other fighters are fictional, and they're of all different. There's returning characters. Like there's a French fighter named Batiste who is a friend of Joe's, even though they fight. He's also a heavyweight, like a French boxing champion. And there's this other guy named Belanki, who I think is like the Polish or something, or I forget, but and he's like a bad guy, and he's a heavyweight. And then there's also sometimes Joe fights black fighters. Joe has a corner man named Smokey who is really funny. Like he's drawn a lot like the way that Will Eisner drew Ebony, except he's an adult, and he ends up being kind of the wise solver of problems, because Joe's manager Nobby is a hothead and kind of a troublemaker, and sometimes it's Joe's innocence that gets them out of trouble. Anyway, there's a lot of comments, people talking about how good Joe Palooka is.
Oh, cool.
I think. Let me read them.
This is the same issue you just showed, I think, isn't it?
I can't see it because I'm looking at the comments. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. That's it exactly.
Yeah. Kevin was pointing out that sometimes it's hard to tell the difference because, like, this cover, I think, is pretty much. I think that's the same drawing. Yeah, it is.
So they're very similar. The covers can be real similar. Like there you go. That's the same drawing
This is actually the same drawing. It's one is 77 and one's 17. I guess they figure 70 issues in that the readership has changed a little bit, and they won't know.
That might be a reprint. I don't know. I don't have
Could
that
be,
other.
Could be.
I think
77.
If I have the other one, it's in my other books. John Gorris says that he used to love Frederick Remington as a child. Very influential. Yeah. My cousin.
Were you talking about Frederick Remington? Where did that come from?
Sculptures, those metal sculptures that were like.
Oh yes, my friend Tom Renoni. His father had tons of those sculptures around the house.
Beautiful. There was like he had a big Pony Express in the entryway, like to their house. It was really big. It was what the Pony Express rider, and it was big, like probably a foot long or maybe 2 feet long. It was beautiful.
Well,
on a whole table on its own. Yeah.
Artists like Remington and Norman Rockwell, and forget the other artists' names. In the 50s, people would laugh at you if you bought their art. They said that's vulgar, that's commercial art, that's illustrator art. That was considered art that was made for commercial purposes. Magazine covers, paperback covers, posters for movies was trash.
Yeah.
And then he was buying it up in the 50s. My friend's father, who was a dentist, he was the dentist for the Texas Rangers baseball team. They all went to him. He was pretty big in the town. So anyway, so you'd go in his house and there'd be Norman Rock. But some of the things, like the poster for Thunderball, is also a Western artist. He does a lot of cowboy paintings, but forget his name. But anyway, they went into some old lady's house, and there was the original painting for the Thunderball poster over her mantle because she collected that artist.
Wow.
And they'd have people like George Bush Jr. come over to their house to buy paintings because they had a big gallery. Because the Bushes weren't really from Texas, but they wanted people to think that, so they wanted to have cowboy paintings. He's showing us Monsanto Godzilla. I think it's, what is it, Maranatha Marusan.
Yeah, that looks cool. I want to get one of those, I think.
Yeah, I looked them up. They're
what do
pretty
the figures
cool.
Look like? Are they cool looking on the inside? Sure.
Yeah, if you're willing to open it.
I'm already going to get one anyway, but yeah, open it up.
Thunderball poster is Robert McGinnis.
Robert McGinnis, thank you. Yeah, he's yeah. I could have told you that yesterday, but everything's leaving my brain very quickly.
That's pretty hefty.
These are new toys. You buy them blind. You don't know what color you're going to get. and they're made to
Pretty
look
heavy. It
like
feels.
early '60s Godzilla toys from a company called
Sometimes it doesn't
Marusan.
matter if they're good enough. It doesn't matter if you know what I mean. If it
I
doesn't
looked
matter
up
which
all the
one you get.
colors, what they look like online. They all look cool, even the
Okay,
weird
good.
colors.
That's good. Then I'll get one.
You really can't get a terrible one, from
Oh,
what
you
I
don't have
saw.
to assemble it.
2 boxes of those, you
Well,
guys.
you
So
have to stick his tail in his butt. That's about
No,
it,
it
right?
comes like this. It comes already built. Comes already built. You just turn
oh,
it.
he's silver. He's got the silver highlights.
Yeah, this is the silver.
Oh, look at that thing on his chest. It's like a Labrador Retriever, right? You know how those black labs have that little white spot right there in their chest sometimes?
Well, I see Archivist Adrift is watching. He was one of the winners of Night Tigers contest, and I looked him up, and I was already subscribed with the bell rung. And but I haven't seen many of his videos. I see he does restoration, like Jerry the Jitterbug of old comics, and he looks like a great channel. You guys
Well,
should
these all
look
look
up
good. What was his
Archivist.
name again? Ratu, what was the name?
It's Archivist Adrift, right? Yeah.
Okay, I remember
That
him. He
was
was the last
yeah,
one on the
he was
video.
one of the contest winners yesterday.
I like the clear green. Well, I think the black and silver is cool too. I like them all. Those are good.
There's clear green. What else? Vintage
Hawaii.
brown, Hawaii, and a mystery.
That's
Mystery.
interesting. So they call that blue one Hawaii. That's Hawaiian blue, like the Detroit Lions. If there's any Lion fans out there. Is that
And
that's
I
the only
think this
reference
why
we
they
could
do
think of.
Hawaii is because remember the Shogun Godzilla
Uh-huh.
in Hawaii there was a blue variation of them.
Oh, then that must be it. That's it. And it's also the reason why the Detroit Lions are Hawaiian blue. I don't
I
know.
wouldn't doubt it.
So I really like this sculpt. This is having to do with this is based on a toy
Based
company.
on the first Godzilla toy from 1960. Let's see, it says the story right here.
It was 9 inches tall. Right?
You guys see the
I
60,
can't see anything.
between
66 through
66
68
and
they made
68.
the Marusan or however you say that Godzilla
Son.
and Sato.
And Maru-san, I'm not sure what that means, but it might be Mr. Monster, Maru-san. I don't know though. That would be my guess. Something
Marusan.
like that. Mr. Horror, Mr. Terror, Mr. Fire, Mr. something.
I have no idea.
Gotta be it. No, I don't know. I guess that's the company name. This is the earliest Sofubi. This is like the beginning of kaiju design, I think.
What does sofubi mean? I don't think I know that word.
It's Japanese soft vinyl figures.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Cool. Yeah, I'll take one of those, Kevin, please.
I think he
Want to
already
pick
had
it?
one held for you.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
I got to go back up to there's probably some good comments in here.
There's a whole box of them. I still have an unopened case right here.
Those are going to sell, I think. You've got enough Godzilla customers.
Yeah, you got to be a diehard fan to know what that is.
Missing Mars says J North RIP. John Gores
Yeah.
says I
Well,
love
yeah, he had a
Dennis.
miserable life. He hated being Dennis the Menace. He hated Hollywood. He was not like Billy Mummy that, had fond memories doing Lost in Space. He was always a miserable person. And he was terrible as Dennis the Menace. So yes, rest in peace. But I just didn't like you as Dennis the Menace. It doesn't mean you're a bad guy. I'm trying to figure this out. This here is from 1947. When I think it's 1947. When did the first 45 RPM records come out? I used to know that. it was right around it was new technology even in the early 50s because they were still making 78 RPM records. I don't This must be 45 because it says 2 unbreakable records. And yeah, well actually they're not, they're cardboard. That's why they're unbreakable.
Oh,
That's yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling, although it doesn't say it, that they're probably 78 RPM records. I don't know. You can listen to this on YouTube. Someone's put this up.
I was going to say, if you put the word unbreakable on anything for a child, they're going to take that as a challenge. They take it out
Yeah,
in the
well,
backyard.
78 RPM records were famous for if you dropped it, it would shatter.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
but
was always trying to light my pajamas on fire. Every chance I got, I'd steal the lighter out of my mom's purse and just see if I could light them on fire, but they would never catch fire.
yeah, they used to say flame retarded.
Yeah, yeah. And
That was one
thought
of
that
those
meant
things that would always make you laugh. And just like the supermarkets always said, homo milk, 47
Yes.
cents. It's like, oh my gosh. I don't know what. Somehow it no one got the joke back then. This is you're talking about studios. I think that these Star Trek Power Records things were it was Neil Adams, but I don't know that Neil Adams was this. I think he had a studio of people drawing for him that drew in his style. Oh, this is still sealed. Shoot. It's still completely sealed from the manufacturer.
oh, that's
Oh
great.
well. But you can just listen to the well, you can't see the art if it's sealed.
Yeah.
But you can listen to it. All of these Power Records, everything's on YouTube.
I kind of want to do a drawing now of Joseph Goebbels angrily reading Joe Palooka, like right, like an ad for Joe Palooka with Joe's in behind holding the comic and reading it. It's you could see it's Joseph Goebbels behind it, and he's really angry. He's like, ah, drats, this stupid American or pig dog Joe Palooka,
Yeah. Well,
something like that. There's a joke there somewhere.
I've never had a copy of Police Comics,
Oh,
May
wow.
1947. Jack Cole.
Okay.
These guys, he was another one of the greats that everybody's kind of forgotten about now. All anyone talks about is Matt Baker, Matt Baker, Matt Baker. And Matt
Yeah.
Baker's great, but it's like he's the guy, only one that anyone talks about now. And I don't know why everyone's forgotten not about Jack Cole, but and then
They're sad. Like there wasn't. There's some. It was sad. Like he left a note that was sad. It was all sad, right?
well, yeah, he's well, you see, Hugh Hefner was a big comic art person. You know, he cut his teeth as a kid on Alex Raymond, Flash Gordon, and you know all the scantily clad women in the Flash Gordon comic strip might have been part of what inspired him to go in his career path. But he would get the best comic artists. He would recruit them to draw stuff in Playboy that wasn't as good as what they were doing. What Harvey Kurtzman did in Playboy was never as good as what he did in the early Mad. It was almost like he was slumming a little bit, I thought. But although the Will Elder paintings were wonderful, but Hugh Hefner knew good talent, and comic artists. But he got Jack Cole in drawing Playboy art, and then I guess he deleted himself or whatever YouTube wants us to say. And I think he sent a letter to Hugh Hefner, a real sad letter, like, I'm sorry I've let you down and all that. Something very depressing. This is another Jack Cole drawing. This is interesting. I need to research this a little bit more. This issue of Smash Comics.
So
It's
cool.
this character called Midnight is obviously
Yeah.
a spirit knockoff,
Yeah.
or was the
Looks
spirit a
like it.
knockoff of Mid? I don't think so. And even
The
the
monkey taking the
Midnight
picture.
has an assistant that looks like Ebony. So if you couldn't read, you'd think that this is a spirit comic. I think. What do you
You know,
guys know about?
I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna talk something about. I'll say something about Hugh Hefner and Jack Cole. So, Hugh Hefner was a businessman and a really good businessman, right? And he had the ability to work in these areas and not be affected emotionally by things. But he hired artists to work for him. Sometimes these artists weren't able to manage situations the way that Hugh Hefner was able to manage situations. And so I'll end it by saying that the thing about beautiful women is that they're easy on the eyes, but hard on the heart. And sometimes sometimes an artist isn't able to manage a relationship with a beautiful woman, the type of woman that you might meet working for Hugh Hefner at Playboy magazine.
Is
I'm
that
just
what
saying.
you heard happened?
I don't know. That's just, I don't know. I never heard that, but that's what just comes to mind for somebody that I'm just saying that's the type of thing that that's a story. That's the
Yeah,
story that I would write if I was writing a story about this.
I
That's,
never
I mean, I don't
pictured
know the
Jack Cole
facts.
was the type like, you know, Bill Cosby or Shel Silverstein that would hanging
Oh
out at his
no, he's
bench.
the type the opposite where he would meet the love of his life at a party and she would not be the love of his life. She would be
Yeah.
10 to 15 years his younger, and she might be taking advantage of him or it might not work out. And he fell for her because she was beautiful, but they're not on the same level emotionally, and it might have destroyed him. He never met the perfect woman. You know, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't really remember. He might have had a family and been married.
I
I
know,
don't
I'm
really
just writing
remember
a
the
story.
story, but that's certainly plausible. That certainly sounds like it could make sense. I think that it's just really nice to be, you know, for someone like Kurtzman or Will Elder to have, you know, retirement and they know where the next paycheck's coming from. They're not like worried that the comic company they're working for is going to go out of business or, you know, insult their intelligence, whatever. Okay, man. Boy, I picked up a couple of Hopalong Cassidy's. Jambo got most of them. I just wanted a few just because you know, we had a couple of 8mm Hopalong Cassidy films when I was growing up, but ooh, this one's not in very good shape. This must have, I think these were like $1. I think they were real cheap. It was just, to me, you know, and I think Jambo preferred the painted covers. I just thought this is just so wonderfully 50s with the logo and everything. And I just wanted to get a couple. But I got a ton of these beach party books. I guess it's almost summer. I'll have something to read. Um,
When you're laying out, when you're laying when you go down to the pier to lay out, you can take your Donald Duck beach party with you. Oh, you got one of those. That's
yeah,
the issue after the one. That's 18 right there, I think.
yeah.
That
March
Valentine's
'48.
party.
Yeah, remember I was
Yeah,
getting the
I
ones
wanted
that,
that one.
and
Oh
it
yes.
turned out you had already done a video years ago about this issue, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got a copy. Strange Life got a copy. I think everybody.
Super fun
You
book.
know, this was a real train that was going across the country. They probably printed a million of these and gave them
Yeah.
away to promote this train. Um, I guess it's you know, there was a big train that we went to see on a field trip in the bicentennial year. Some spirit, I don't know, Spirit of 76 train, and I don't know, it had maybe a replica of the Declaration of Independence in it or something. But this wouldn't have been the 150th birthday. This wouldn't have been the sesquicentennial. This must have been just in celebration of winning World War II a few years later. That must have been why this train was going around the country. I don't, I guess it tells me in the book. Do you remember why,
Yeah,
Mark?
it does. So that cover is a bait and switch misdirection. There's no train in the story. The Joe Palooka is nowhere near the Freedom Train. There's no kids. He's not doing that, except for the very last page of the book. Otherwise, the book is great. The story, everything's. I mean, this is a 5-star comic book. At the back, there's a 1-page story that's actually like a U.S. government public service ad telling you everything about the Freedom Train. Joe Palooka's in the first panel, and they explain everything to you just like what you just said. And it was kind of this morale boosting, like Hands Across America type
Yeah.
situation, where the train was traveling all the way from like Boston to San Francisco or something like that, and making a stop in all these different cities. And it was an advertisement for something.
It's the dog doing that to the camera. Yeah, it must have been. It must have been what it is. Here's another Dull Giant.
I don't know. That's a nice one. I don't have that issue. Cool. I like that. I've never seen it.
Do you tell us what you know, Micah, about these? Do you have this one?
I sure don't. I don't know.
It's is that Dumbo and he's angry? You don't
Looks like
see
Laura
Dumbo
Loomer there.
angry
Minnie
in
Mouse
that.
looks like Laura Loomer. Is
That's
what
just
now?
a regular elephant, I think.
It's not Dumbo. It's just a
Right.
regular elephant. Micah
Yeah.
says.
Or, it's regular elephant, not Dumbo's. Well, it's got
Well, it could
big
maybe be.
ears.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Dumbo. He's angry at Donald for what's Donald doing?
I think that look what it is it's just everybody's a little bit off model. I mean, it's a nice painting, but like Minnie Mouse looks a little bit
Yeah.
drunk.
I love when they're a little off. I
Get
also
some
like that
eggnog.
these comics sometimes on the back of these will be just a giant pinup of the cover without the logo.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
great.
this is very good. I guess that says 1963 there. Oh my gosh.
You don't see that much Bob Hope or Jerry Lewis.
This belongs to Donald Marson Cook. It says it right there on that stamp.
Oh,
Donald Marson Cook.
he's got his library stamp right on the cover of the comic.
Yeah, I guess he was lending it out to friends.
Maybe so.
Okay. Man, I don't know. I don't remember. I thought Jambo got this one, but maybe I don't know.
That cover of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea is like a reverse image. It's probably the same style of a Tarzan comic where he's punching a guy into the water. It's the same pose. It's just like a mirror image.
Yeah, well, it could be. That's just he's saving time.
I wonder if it's George Wilson.
Oh, I would say, well, probably, but it looks a little bit different. But then who would it be? I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Oh, this is April 1970. This was several years after the show was off the air.
It was
and it was a gold key
right then,
Tarzan I'm
popular.
thinking of.
A lot of creaking around here. There's a Joe Palooka training camp there.
Nice.
Oh man, looks like somebody grabbed some red paint from somewhere. Let's see, where would that have come off on the cover?
Oh boy, yeah.
No, I don't even see where it might come from another comic. I don't know, but it does look like the same red, but who knows? It's not
I
like
saw it was right on the tip of the mountain. Came off.
it's on the. Oh, you found it. Cat, get away from these books.
Yeah, go back and look on the tip of the mountain.
All right, I will. But this cat wants to fuck these books up like super big time. Oh no, the dog's chasing the cat. Oh wait, no, god damn it, man. They want to have a fight. Oh man.
I should have put some catnip in that box.
Yeah, really. Okay, man, this is not good. I think
They're gonna love that box. When you're done with that box, you should make a hole in it, and they'll be like their fort.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I've been meaning to get some cat trees. Why? Yeah, these boxes might serve a wonderful purpose.
Yeah, cats like boxes more than they like what comes in the box. Like if you order a cat tree, they'll be sitting in the box and they won't even use the cat tree.
Yeah. Is there anything interesting happening in the comments?
Oh, I don't know. Let me look.
Strange Life showed up.
I haven't looked in a
Oh,
long
is he
time.
here?
16 comments. It's way stacked up, dude. I've been negligent.
He's been negligent.
Oh, yeah. It goes way back.
Again, for those of you, I can't.
Yeah,
read
everybody's
the
talking about
comments
the
the way
Merloy.
Straight Guys
So yeah, the Joe Palookas are good. They're inexpensive. They're cheap. They're easy to find. Jay North was abused as a child. Flammable or inflammable. Crisp Howdy Doody. Those vinyl records even have Plastic Man song. John Gore says Goebbels was a big fan of American pop culture. Deep down, he must have realized the Allies were winning the Psy War. Interesting, John. Yes. Maybe he did read Joe Palooka. Maybe that's true. It's hard to believe that it would be fabricated. Like I read that Hefner constantly edited the work, mostly because he couldn't get the jokes. Says archivist Adrift. Cap, Strange Life is here. I think Jack Cole's wife only released the contents of the note to the police, and it was never made public. Yeah, I think that's right too.
Oh.
Interesting. Makes it even more it's anyway. Yeah. Sad. Hello, Meyer and Micah, says Hans. I am one of us, 33rd and a third, 19, that was reintroduced to Columbia Records 1948. Release the Creakin'. Now the Gratu showed that Bob Hope comic, wasn't it? The Bob Hope comic, Jerry Lewis comic that had a Frankenstein model kit that became animated. I don't know. I never read that story. Is that a real comic? Call Animal Control. Creaking about the house, the ghosts are restless, and then Pauline says, "Is that an old Howdy Doody?" We're all caught up in my own special way.
This Howdy Doody is not old. It's from like 2001, I think.
Okay.
No,
He's
it's
talking about that.
2000. 2000.
Yeah, they made Howdy Doody dolls
Gold.
all through the decades.
They probably still make them, don't they? You don't think they make them anymore?
The one I have is from the mid
Might
maybe
still
about
make them.
74.
See, I have two now. I have this one too. Let's see what year this one is. This one's probably the 70s.
If you want to see a really old one, I'll show you a really old one.
You want to see something really scary?
All right, let's look. Where's the date? 1990. It's not as old as I thought. $1990. So I have a 1990 and a 2000. Maybe I should collect one for every decade. Look at this, Mr. Hyde.
Oh, I haven't seen this yet. What is it? It's unpainted mask? What are we looking at?
It's an unpainted head, yeah.
So is that it's a full latex head?
It's
What is that?
latex and foam filled.
Oh, okay. Foam filled latex. And is that a mask that they make and they paint? Yeah, obviously.
No, it was just a display bust that a famous sculptor made.
Oh, wow.
It's
Dude, this is
supposed to
really
be a
nice.
Kamala Harris voter.
Are you
Someone that
going
was
to keep it like that? Are
Tesla.
you going to paint it, or have you thought about what we're going to do?
I'm gonna look at it for a long time and then decide maybe in a few years.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I'm just gonna study the sculpture because this guy is so good.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
You want to see the lurch? I think the
Yeah.
lurch is even better. It's up here.
Oh, you got an unpainted one of those too? So it's kind of looks like a young Ted Cassidy, kind of, right?
Yeah, or one that's on a real severe diet.
Yeah, I was gonna say he almost looks like. Remember how he was in that Tom Sawyer cartoon where he played Injun Joe? A little bit. He was kind of like a Scooby-Doo villain,
Yeah.
but a caricature of himself. It's kind of like a caricature of him, but it's realism. It's like a AI almost, right?
Yeah.
It's really warmed up here the past couple days. It's in the 70s now.
Air just kicked on in here.
What's happening today? It says April showers may rust Iron Man on the clock today. Or
Oh boy.
on the calendar.
Here's an old Howdy Doody marionette. Can you see him? I don't even know what I'm pointing at. Could you see him?
Yeah, we can see him. He looks like he's made of wood. Looks really old.
Yeah, you can see the paint's chipping on him. Oh well. I don't want you to see that Wally Wood Disney painting per print. I gotta make sure that didn't get on camera. Oh boy. Oh wait, the cat's stuck in here. Come on out, cat. You're gonna get locked in the Batman room. Come on, cat. There you go.
Is the box empty yet, or still pulling stuff out of there?
I still got. Well, the box is empty. I've got a few more comics. Then that's the end of that box. Trying to keep this cat from getting in to this room. No, no, no. How dare you? Problem is, there's no doorknob on this door. The previous owners left this place a real wreck. All right. See now. Okay.
I need to eat something, guys.
All right. Well,
It's not that
if he
much.
gets in and destroys everything, then that's just gonna be the way it is. Okay. Yeah, there's a light at the end of the tunnel here.
And it has some
I
chips
like this cover
and some dip. Johnny Mac Brown.
because it's violent and it's Jughead. Everybody's turned into a circular head.
Yes, I've been looking into a more circular head myself.
Yes.
Yes, number 4 had a
That is
name on it at some point. Someone crossed it out.
that is the only gasp I have.
Is it?
That one with the giant woman, yeah.
Here's another Joe Palooka that Meyer recommended.
Yeah, that's a good story. I have that one already. It's one of the earliest ones I've ever bought. I think it might have been like one of the first or second issue I read all those years ago.
It's just weird that there were so many Joe Palookas and so many duplicates. I just thought that was odd. This is one Micah collects. He may have all of them.
What is it?
Tales
I
of
don't
the
have that one.
Did he freeze, Micah?
I think he froze.
Yeah. Well, Okay. We came back. Let's look at the comments. Kevin, how much for the Godzilla figures? Says Missing Mars. August aesthetic, that latex mask looks like Ted Cassidy. Yes.
Yeah.
Pauline says, thank you, Gratu, for sharing your howdy doody. August aesthetic says, Ted Cassidy would have been great as DC's Spectre. Captain
Yeah.
Kevin, for the bomb-proof packaging and the great effort you put into the preparation and shipment of our pop culture goodness. Special thanks again to Jeff for those 8 hours of driving. Yes, I agree. Thank you, Jeff, for that, and thank you, Kevin, as well, for brokering and doing all that, transporting. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
We're waiting for Gratu to rejoin. He had some sort of difficulty.
So, Kevin, I don't know if the other Godzillas are as different as their little pictures on the box indicated, but it looked like the black and silver one you opened. It looks like he was more hippie in the hips than the green one. So, I guess there might be more than one mold.
Maybe.
I couldn't notice the difference by looking at that picture. It was too small for me to see that
Oh,
little
well,
photo.
from what I was looking at, the green one looked a little more thinner. So, unless that's just the guy heavy-handed with his inks, I don't know. But you would think they would use one mold and then just do ridiculous number of paint jobs. Kind of like how all the He-Man of Masters of the Universe all look the same figure, basically.
I guess I'm back.
You were asking if I had that unexpected, and I don't have that one.
Okay. Yeah.
Going inside a feed and pet shop.
Oh yeah. What are you looking for?
I'm gonna see if they have that Burt Ward dog food in here.
Target used to stock it. I don't know if they still do.
There's like one Target in this whole state that stocks it, and it's like
Oh.
maybe an hour or 2 hour drive.
So anyway, Kevin got all the money to Mike, and Mike is leaving the country to Thailand on Tuesday. Is that correct? He may have his mic turned off in the store.
Yeah, Mike's leaving Tuesday, from what I heard.
Well, this is a book that's readable. It's got a little bit of pencil. Monkey Shines Comics.
You know, in Thailand, Thai massage, it's just regular massage there.
Yeah, you know, my wife loves Thai food, and it helps her sinuses. That's like the only thing that can make her normal is and they always would ask, do you want Thai spice 1, 2, or they went up to 5? And she'd get like Thai spice 5, but I guess in Thailand they don't say Thai spice. Do you want U.S. ketchup or I don't know. This is what company is this, guys?
That is that Fago?
Yeah, that's the name that I hear everyone always laughing about.
Right. I try to pronounce it Fago because of that. I don't know.
I really don't think it's Fago.
Yeah.
Come on, you know, we're not going to
It's
stay in
actually
third
probably
grade
pronounced
forever.
Fago.
You know,
That'd be an
So it's
Italian
probably
version of
Fago. Yeah, and it's probably a partial name. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's probably the end of an Italian name.
Right.
That was like something like Cordofago or something.
Or
I'm
it's,
just guessing.
or it's
Possible.
Fago Gortsanowski or something.
That could be Terry Toons. What do you think, Meyer? Like the Mighty
Oh,
Mouse?
is that a Terry tune? I don't know.
No, because Terry Toons don't have the characters by these names. They're
Terry
clearly
Tune had
they're
Mighty
all
Mouse.
imitations. Pat and Mike is Tom and Jerry. Nutty Squirrel is Screwy Squirrel. Funny Bunny is Bugs Bunny. They're all imitations of real.
Yeah, they're all
characters.
knockoffs.
Yeah,
Even
not
Nutty Squirrel is a ripoff of Nutsy Squirrel, which was a
Right.
Warner Brothers character. Yeah.
wait, wasn't it Screwy Squirrel? Or is there also a Nutsy Squirrel?
I think we're
That
both.
Nutsy sounds too much like Nazi. There was a Screwy Squirrel that Tex Avery did.
This show is ridiculous, you guys. You realize that, right? That we're grown men sitting here talking about fun
Yes.
books.
Yeah, I know.
And how to pronounce
Okay,
Fago.
this one looks pretty good. My God.
So apparently, there's a missing Jimmy Olsen book that Strange Life didn't get.
Is he saying that?
Did one of you guys get Captain Strange Life as a Jimmy Olsen?
You guys carry
I don't know. I don't see it yet.
Burt Ward stuff.
What are you doing, man?
Okay, thank you.
Oh, is that in the comments? Let me read.
There's I think
Sorry.
Kevin mentioned about the missing Captain Midnight
I didn't get any
booklets, and he said
know.
he might have forgotten stuff, and he was going to send it to Kevin.
Oh,
The
Yeah,
kitty.
something. Oh wait, I'm missing something interesting. Oh wow, it's far more interesting.
Cool, huh? Store
Yeah.
cat. Didn't even wake up the whole time I was in there. They don't have Burt Ward. She knew about it, but they don't have it here.
Cool. Still sunlight there. This is oh my God, this is insane. Look at this. Joe Palooka's Battle Adventures.
Oh boy.
It's quite a bit different
Isn't that great?
than the
Read the
other
text.
books.
Read that text right there on the left-hand side of the book. It's going to crack you up and read it.
The red lice were swarming in. They thought they had him trapped, but they hadn't reckoned on a hero's guts. And that's all really printed on their blood. It's not drawn on by a kid. What are you doing, Drew? Okay.
Yeah, that was good. So I can see what Goebbels saw in Ham Fisher. He's dehumanizing the enemy right there on the cover for the kids.
Except that's Korean War, and Goebbels was no longer alive then.
Yeah, that's about 10 years after.
Although we've recently found out in all those released papers that Hitler died like 10 years later, like in 55 in South America. It didn't get hardly any news, but we were relying on the Russians. They said, well, we got him. We burned his body. Don't worry about it. It's like, well, how do we really know that happened?
that Monkey Shines was by Ace Comics.
Ace, okay. And what is Ace Comics known for? Ooh, this one's toasty.
They had a really cool The Hands of Fate.
Oh yeah, I know that book.
Yeah.
This one is it didn't go through a fire, but it's heavily. This is going to be a brittle book, I think, like falling apart on your hands, kind of. I guess people are talking about Thai spice in the chat. I can't see it at all because there's a. I'll turn my phone sideways and look. This is interesting. Someone's written a note on it. Look at Dick Tracy's eyelashes. He's got very long, lustrous eyelashes there. But someone wrote on their detective's guide on the cover. I guess they wanted to remember this is where they go to learn about how to be a detective.
It said, what did it say? Detective what? Detective
Guide.
Detective's guide.
That's so interesting. Like what?
I'll open it up on a show later and see exactly what that means.
Oh, if there's
Maybe
anything
Saturday
inside,
I'll open up a lot of these books and look at them, but
there might be something inside, but I think that might be a part of like he's starting a club. Like maybe he has some friends. They hang out in a tree house, and he's like doing pamphlets and field manuals, and that's the detective guide. He's pretending that he's got a real like a secret society or club.
Just realizing this is a Kirby cover on his Champions.
Huh. Who's that guy with the jetpack?
His name is Rampage.
Huh.
Looks a lot more interesting than Deadpool. Why didn't this guy become famous? Well, that's
Don't
it,
those
man. That's
leggings
the whole. Well,
Hercules
no,
wear
there's some
look like they
cards
would get
here.
blisters? Like, I mean, imagine that leather rubbing on your leg all the time. Like, it just looks uncomfortable. Look at Hercules' legs.
Oh yeah. That. Imagine trying to put those things on. But I guess you're not really supposed to think about that. The thing that's so
That's how they get you.
horrible about superheroes now that we've had to live through COVID is just how miserable it would be to be. Well, these superheroes are okay because they don't have to cover their mouths, but to be like someone like Spider-Man or anyone that covers their whole face, that you just can't. It's hard enough just to go in a supermarket like that. How would you like? It makes you not want to ever be Spider-Man if you're a kid because it's miserable. Okay, so we got some cards. I've just got to find a place. I really need a box for all. I don't have a box for all these
By
comics.
the way, you showed that Smash comics. I just found the article. Smash Midnight is the guy that's the white guy with the mask. That's the spirit knockoff.
Right.
And that other one is a monkey. To
That's
make it
the
even
monkey.
more racist sounding, it's
Okay.
a actual monkey.
Is he Midnight's assistant?
Yeah, his sidekick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how they make it different from the spirit because he looks exactly like the spirit.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say there's more of a reason for a lawsuit there than
Something.
National going after Fawcett for Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Way agree.
But Midnight wasn't really super successful like Captain Marvel. I think the problem was Captain Marvel was outselling Superman at times.
Yes,
So
that's
that,
the real problem.
yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. So that's the end of that. Now we can look at Meyer's stuff if he's up to it. But I've got a few cards. The cards that didn't get taken by Last Frontier Comics, he must have gotten. Are you still there? How many cards did Last Frontier get, Kevin? He's not there. I think he got
How many
probably two.
cards did you get? I can hear.
Yeah, he got
It was around 500 cards or something like that.
500 cards, and he paid 20 cents each. So
Like
if you're
$90 or something.
So he got Horrors of War, which are like the really gory before
No, he
World
didn't
War.
get the hordes there.
He didn't
He
get the
didn't get
Horrors of War.
those.
He didn't. Okay. Well, he got
I
a
didn't know
bunch of
that he
stuff.
wanted those.
I think he did want them. He said he wanted them, but it probably just got lost in the chatter of people saying
Yeah,
hi to each
afterwards
other.
I found out that he wanted them, but I had already
Yeah.
sold them. But at least I
Yeah.
got, well, at least I sold them
Well,
for more than 20 cents, so I got Mike more money for those.
yeah. Well, Horrors of War was a gory card series, but none of the gory ones were there.
No, all the
But
good
it,
cards weren't there.
but it was a some of those show people like a nurse getting crushed by a tank, you said, and then
It's
people
a,
getting burned
it's a
up.
woman. It's a woman journalist, photographer. She's getting run over by a tank. That's like the best card in the set.
Imagine if it was Rachel Maddow. No. Okay, so here's John Lennon. I just got a few. These are these aren't old. They've got puzzles on the back. The old, really the '70s ones would just have a tan back. So these I like wacky packages of all eras, but these are not the ones of my childhood. But
Speaking of wacky package, did I tell you that Smoking Joe will be here for free comic day again?
yeah, you told me that, but you didn't tell them that. Free Comic
Yeah.
Day, an artist named Smokin' Joe who does modern wacky packages and um, Garbage Pail Kids is going to be at his store,
He was at
signing art
the
and stuff.
Philly non-sport card show this past weekend, and you can see him on that video I watched, Dark Ride Dracula's video.
Yeah, Dark Ride Dracula is a good channel. You guys need to.
But he didn't stop and talk to Joe. He went right by him.
Well, I guess he didn't know. These are bigger than regular cards. These are meant to be postcard size. They're slightly smaller than postcard size, but they're Wally Wood art. They're pretty as a picture, and it's an insult postcard from to. This is You're a Dream.
I've never seen these. What year are these from? The early 70s?
Uh, I'm guessing they're more mid 60s.
Oh, wow.
Wish You Were Here. That's kind of horrible. Wallace Wood, born 1927. Died, question mark, rest in pieces. Oh, there's stuff on the back I'm not showing you. This says, this is from Pat to Anton. You big fit dream. Is that what this? I guess these would have been. I guess these were from Tops and they were in packs. He was saying that these holes were put into the cards and it made them pretty much worthless. These were just given to me. Oh, there's a dot there. Someone's trying to come in. I didn't see anything. Okay. You're Out of This World. Oh, I think they have this art recurring on the back. I thought someone was trying to come in. I don't see anybody. I'm Blue Without You. Yeah, I guess this is all Wally Wood. Yeah. You Were Made for Me. Yeah, I wonder why these. I think someone must have made a little booklet with these. I don't know why those are there. Unless they were made with that, but I don't know why that would be. Thanks. Your picture cured my hiccups. Hey, lover, we're two of a kind. I always hated people that use that term lover. It's always been kind of gross. This is my lover instead of my girlfriend. Isn't that kind of creepy? It's a very, I don't know. It's a, I don't know why it bothers me. Something. Your teeth are like stars, pointed.
Hmm.
You're just what the doctor ordered.
Nice.
You're one in a million. You're a fright for sore eyes. Look into my baby blue eye. Eyes is crossed out. The S is crossed out. Ooh, this is good. I admire your open mind.
Oh, yeah.
And then these are really cool. Gigantor, Japanese card. Astro Boy. These are tiny. How about that? Okay. Meyer, do you want to? Meyer's got a box about the size of Captain Strangelife's box. Do you want to show anything, or are you tired? I'll just do a Masonic little thing.
Yeah.
Um, I think he's not there.
Who, me?
He was eating something.
Oh, I'm
came
sorry.
back.
I didn't even notice. I
I just
can't
got
see
back
a
from the
thing.
kitchen. What's going on?
This is the entire box. Is this gigantic box? This is that's everything. I'll have to go through all this again to make sure there's nothing hiding in all this packing material, but that's everything, man. It's there's supposed to be a decoder, little decoder, Captain Midnight decoder, and a manual. Jambo got the manual, not the decoder. I don't know if Captain Strangeliffe has found that he has a manual or not. He went through the comics. I don't know if he went through everything else, but anyway, I think there were 5 manuals. So some of it didn't. I guess that stuff didn't get in the box or whatever. Let me see what these comments are saying, man. I don't think. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm way behind. You got to pick up the slack. I've been.
Uh, Captain Strangeliffe show on stage. I love pad thai medium hot. We went into this Thai restaurant, and my wife and some friend ordered something. I said, that smells like balloons. And then they couldn't eat it anymore. They all they realized it did smell like a balloon. I wish if she's watching, maybe she remembers what that food was. Pad Thai super hot cleans your sinuses, clears your sinuses and your colon. Oh boy, that's maybe too much information there. Dick Tracy compares to Jasmine Crackpot's fake eyelashes.
Oh,
Who's Jasmine Crackpot?
that lady Congress person.
Oh, Crockett. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, I didn't recognize that. Yeah. Smokin' Joe, cool. I want his album cover, parodies of Queen in Asia. Oh, yeah, right. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, this is the little Captain Midnight Ovaltine cup that it must have been a warehouse find of these. Because that's obviously never been used. Okay, so Jambo did a video where he showed what he got. It was mostly Hopalong Cassidy stuff. Um, I don't remember what else.
I got almost entirely Joe Palooka. I've got a couple Dell Giant, Huey, Dewey, and Louie back to school, and a summer special where they're all eating watermelon. And then I got 3 old Blackhawks and 5 Roy Rogers and 1 Hopalong Cassidy. And that's everything. Give me a second and I'll show it to you as soon as I'm done dripping the rest of this Smucker's caramel out of the. Here's what I'm doing, you guys. Don't you hate this? Here's what I've been doing. I'm holding up the can of Smucker's caramel until all of it drains out, because there was only like this much at the bottom, you know.
Yeah.
And I want to get all of it on my ice cream right now, so I'm holding it up like this. This is real world problems, right? First world
Yeah,
problems.
no kidding, man.
All right, so let's look at the comics. Let me sit down the caramel sundae and we'll look at the comics. So let's look at the ones that I just told you about. first we looked at that Del Weston roundup already. I got this Huey and Louie and Dewey back to school Del Giant.
Yeah.
Very nice. This is that watermelon cover. Let's open it up. I want to see if the back of it is a pinup. I was hoping that it was going to be a pinup. No, it's not. It's a puzzle. So I was hoping that this image, because I really like how especially Goofy looks eating that watermelon.
Yeah.
I was really hoping this was going to be a full-size pinup on the back, right, Micah? You know how they do that, and you expect it's going to be there because
It would be different.
Gold key, non-square
Yeah.
bound. Usually the back is a pinup, but it's not. It's a puzzle.
Okay.
Like a clock. Mickey's Summertime. What the heck? Supposed to cut this out and make it into like a giant child's pocket watch.
Would that predate the Mickey Mouse wristwatch they, made famous?
Yeah, let's look and see.
Well, the Mickey Mouse wristwatch was around early because my mother wanted one when she was a little girl, and she was born in like 1926.
Yeah, this is
So
from
those were around in the 30s. Her dad, my grandfather, wouldn't let her have one, and she
Okay.
never forgot that. So
really good stuff. I love these Dell Giants. I collect them. Here's a Paul Terry's from Terry Toons comic.
ooh,
Nice.
that's nice.
Yeah.
See, that's the real Terry Toon stuff.
Kitchen cover. He's carrying a stack of dishes, and then the mouse is pouring pepper in his face.
You should never carry that many dishes, by the way.
There are playlists on YouTube. You could
look at all those plates.
Yeah.
you could press play at 5 in the morning and still be watching Terry Toons at midnight.
Yeah.
On some of these playlists, it's like all of them in order. Farmer Alfalfa cartoon. I mean, those go back to the silent movie days. They're great. They're Terry Toons always delivered. They were always great.
Jekyll. So this looks really good. It's a nice looking book. Oh, this looks interesting. Look at this, you guys. Here's an ad. This ad for this live toy circus. It comes with a live performing chameleon, it says. It says that this chameleon, so they're supposedly going to deliver you the toys for the little toy circus, and then you also get a lizard that's going to perform in your little circus there in the house.
I thought they'd send you some flea eggs or some bed bugs or something.
No, it's a real lizard. It says live perform. Why does it say performing? What are the odds that the chameleon is actually going to be a trained performer? I don't know. They're claiming it here. It says performing chameleon included free. Real chameleons are real fun. They love to perform.
Yeah, how do they know he's not on strike?
You'll laugh with delight as they run with delicate balance along the tightrope or swing on the trapeze. They are harmless, clean, and no trouble at all to keep as pets. Your friends will really gape with surprise when they see him riding on your shoulder. Your parents will be charmed with this small, clean pet. You'll love him. Sold normally for about 75 cents, you get this live chameleon free with the purchase of your toy circus section. That's awesome. Look at all this stuff. All this included for $1. You get 15 animals, 3 cages on ropes, a tightrope, a ringmaster with a whip, trapeze, circus ring clowns, one chameleon with one chameleon leash and halter, a performing platform, and of course your sets for your tightropes. I've never seen that ad before, you guys. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, so moving right along, we got some old Blackhawks, which I don't have any Blackhawks that aren't DC. So this is before it was DC. It was somebody else. It was Quality.
Yeah.
Really illustrative design, but when you look inside here, it's really cool, man. I mean, I like this style a lot, and this is that style that's, again, it's kind of similar to to Ham Fisher and similar to Will Eisner. It's this really cool 1940s illustration style. I
Well,
love it.
the Black Hawk comics were done by the Eisner studio, weren't they? At least the early
I
ones.
didn't know they were. I didn't know. It looks
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, Eisner had a studio that did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Look at this set of panels. Look at that. Just
Is this a
starting to make
quality
this
or a
stuff
DC
highbrow.
one we're looking at?
It's almost lyrical the way that these panels flow. And I'm trying to make it seem like we're smarter than we are. They're just funny books for people with problems. Look at this. Black Hawk, the villainess who smashed the Blackhawks. And it looks like
Wow.
there's this story in here with this chick with the fez. And
Oh,
Black
that looks great.
out. Let's pull it out and we'll see if we can't see it better away from the glare. This is the earlier one. It's a 10 center. It's number 90. And it's from
Looks Korean War era to me.
1955. It looks really cool.
Okay.
Put this guy in the back. Please give me a home. I just want a place to stay, a family to call my own. Okay, let's see what's next. This is a little bit later Black Hawk. This is when Black Hawk is over at DC now. And it's pretty early because look at this funky 12-cent box they got the price in. Have you ever seen that before?
That has to be like one of the first 12-cent issues. Yeah. They're drawing attention to it so the person behind the cash register doesn't accidentally charge 10 cents like they've done for decades.
Yep. The Demons of Forbidden Cove.
So that's probably late
of
61.
This really looks like a Scooby-Doo episode, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's cool. It's great. Yeah,
So the other titles that DC continued from quality were GI Combat and what else? Was that it?
I don't know. Micah might know that.
I think they brought them over and continued the numbering, if I'm not mistaken. I know they did with GI Combat.
Yeah, they did that with Black Hawk. It looks like the numbering's definitely continued.
Yeah.
They did it with Tarzan. They did it with Tarzan too, right?
Oh, yeah, later, right.
Tarzan actually started the numbering with Dell, and then it went from Dell to Gold Key, from Gold Key to DC, all with the same numbering.
Imagine if Marvel had continued it. That would have been unprecedented.
Speaking of which, here's like a real low cost. This is the end of the Gold Key run. Let's see what the number is in here. It's a 15-cent Gold Key Tarzan. So this is right on the cusp of DC getting the property and us finally getting to see like Joe Kubert on this, and which looked really good at this time when I was.
Well, that'd be about 69.
Yeah, give me a second. It's
I think
71. This is where is it? So this is number 206, 1971. I think this might be the last issue of Gold Key Tarzan.
Yeah, it could be.
I think DC starts at 207.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think you're right. So that'd be, 71. That makes sense.
All right, so now let me show you this. Sure, I love all these Joe Palookas. Obviously, you guys can see, I love that. But I was really happy to get this cover when I saw it. I was like, yeah, I managed to get my voice in there and get this. Look at this comic, you guys. It's also in really great condition. Look at how cool this photo cover is of him standing on that front step on this train.
Yeah, that's number 11. Great book.
Do you have that one?
No.
Oh, shit. I would really like that one myself. That's a beautiful cover.
I didn't realize it was that early for this level. Look at how beautiful this is.
Micah, what would that cost to get one like that?
Oh, 25 maybe. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think this was like $3 or $4. I think maybe. I don't remember what I even charged me. I didn't really even care.
Yeah, because that cover is gorgeous, man.
And on the
That may
back
be one
cover,
of the
you have
best ones
a
covers I've ever seen.
on the back cover, you have a pinup with Roy and his daughters, Cheryl and Linda Lou, and he's reading them a comic.
Oh, too bad it's not Tales from the Crypt. Someone should.
No, it's his
That's
own
something you
comic.
should Photoshop, Micah.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of his. It's funny. He's reading his daughters a comic book with him of himself, his own comic with their dad in the comic book.
Imagine if it's like, man, what was that comic that Night Tiger just got? It's called Weird Terror, and the letters are dripping blood. That would have been funny if that was put in place
So
of.
I really can't get enough of this cover. I might end up framing this or keeping it out for a long time. It's a lot of it has to do with this portion of the cover. First of all, this image takes up all the space, and there's something about it. It's not a dynamic image. Nothing's happening here, but there's something about it, and there's something about that contrast of it. I don't know. It's different, right?
Yeah. Yeah, everything about it's great. The logo, everything.
So we're gonna look at some more Roy Rogers that I got from Mike. I got I want to take this one out of the bag too, because there's like a sticker on the front and you can't really see the whole cover. But I got this one too as well, Micah, just based off covers. I don't have like a huge Roy Rogers like you, but of all of the Del Western titles, I ended up liking the Roy Rogers comics the best. And so I have more of them than anything else. But I saw this cover too, and I was like, I have to have this cover. He had this wild, crazy wardrobe. Like nobody else had a crazier wardrobe than this guy right here.
Yeah.
Look at that outfit. Look at that leather fringes, and it's all colored and dyed leather or something. And look at him. He's getting ready to let it go. Look at that.
Did he ever make color movies?
I don't know.
I know the TV show was black and white, but
yeah, I don't think so. It seems like everything I've seen is black and white.
I can't think of a color. The only time I saw him in color was when he guest starred on the Wonder Woman show.
Oh. Yeah, and on Celebrity Bowling. Like he was on Celebrity.
Okay, yeah.
4 episodes on Celebrity
Bowling.
But
as Roy, as a cowboy.
Yeah. Oh, he actually acting. Huh. Was he on Fantasy Island or something like that? It seems like.
Oh, you got me. I don't know.
Might have been. Or Love Boat.
Well, he wouldn't be on Love Boat. He was married.
Yeah.
I guess they had married people.
No, they would have come on as a couple.
Yeah, I never watched the show.
But I mean, I don't know when she passed away. Maybe she passed away before Love. I don't know. Anyway, here's another Roy Rogers. Here's a nice color photo cover of him with Trigger. Let's pull it out and look at it. It's also an early issue. This is number 15, and it's beautiful and great condition as well.
Yeah, it looks brand new.
Yeah,
maybe it doesn't in person, but
probably a 4 or 4.5 or something. Right. It's very nice. And then also, just lucking out completely because here's another great pinup picture with him and the girls, and it looks really cool. Look at how cool that looks.
Yeah,
nice.
Has anyone eaten at the restaurant and remember what it tastes like?
Oh yeah, I have. The Roy Rogers that I went to was in either Bricktown or Point Pleasant, New Jersey, about 25 years ago. The last one I went to, and it's like Carl's Jr. I mean, it's just.
I've never been to that place either. Is it still a
combination of? It's like midway between McDonald's and Burger King. Except the thing about Roy Rogers is they had hot dogs. So that was the interesting thing I remember about Roy Rogers is they had good hot dogs. It was like a burger place that actually had hot dogs.
Gratu, have you been to Hardee's?
It is Hardee's. You're right.
I don't think so.
Carl Jr. is the West Coast Hardee's.
Mm-hmm.
They have a different name over there. So
I think Roy Rogers is also Hardee's or almost the same, or it's real close. It's just like it. It's just a burger place with little added things, like they might have some different stuff, like I said. This is another nice cover. It doesn't look like it's as early of an issue. Let's look and see. Got a nice bike cat on the back, all the way up to number 106. So look at that. So we have an early issue like 15, and then here's number 106. It's still 10 cents to buy these comics. It's been a lot. What has it been, like 8 years? And it's basically the same thing, a little bit smaller. There's no more pinups. Now there's an ad on the back. There's a couple ads in Dell Comics, but even then, there's still just a lot of house ads and a lot of subscription ads. You can get this belt if you subscribe.
Yeah, after about 100 issues, Trigger gets second billing on the title.
Andy Devine.
Yeah.
Hey kids, get my quick slate free with rolls of Scotch cellophane tape.
You didn't do the voice, Meyer.
You know, I don't know if I can do it.
No one can.
I don't know. Can you do them?
No.
He had a kids show.
Yeah.
He had a kids show that was also like what Gratu was saying earlier, like Kukla, Fran, and Ollie, where basically he was just introducing short children's films. Is what he was
That's
doing.
like Froggy the Gremlin, right? Didn't he sound like Robert Kennedy Jr.? Something like that.
I don't know what he sounded like. I can't remember. I guess I'd recognize if I heard it. I feel like it was gravelly.
Yeah.
Hey kids, or something. It was kind of high. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of high pitched but gravelly. So then I got this one Hopalong Cassidy book that of everything I got, this is kind of the lowest grade thing that I got, but I think it was like $1 or $2. I can't remember. It might have been free. Anyway, it's really cool though. I'm going to pull it out and show it to you because it's just such a cool cover. It looks like a pulp cover. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember thinking it looked like Doc Savage.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it shows him with blonde hair instead of white hair.
I prefer that more than his photograph covers because, like Gratu has said on other shows, he looked a little too old to be the hero in a cowboy.
It was an interesting thing that he was so popular and he looked like a grandpa. Stan Musial for Winthrop Shoes.
Was
All
he
right,
the
let's look
original
through.
Stan the Man, wasn't he?
Number 24.
Is that where they got Stan the Man Lee from Stan the Man Musial? I think so.
1948, number 24. What does that say? You guys want to see if you can figure this one out? So this is either the signature of like a 90-year-old person or somebody who just learned to write their name in cursive. It looks like Amoeba Sterner, but I really don't think that her name is Amoeba, right? I mean, would you name your daughter Amoeba? It's Arnold Sterner is what it is. See how he doesn't even know how to do his R's and his N's yet? He's this is terrible penmanship. Who is this kid?
I don't know, but sounds like a very German name.
Arnold, I think it's Sterner or Steiner. All right. Anyway, this looks really nice. It's just the cover that's a little bit ragged, this edge right here.
Yeah.
It almost looks like it was cut improperly and it has like a fold over. You know how they do that, how that happened? It looks really cool in here. Wow, look at this fight. Look at this fight panel right here. Look at that.
Damn. What? This is a Hopalong Cassidy comic?
Yeah, this is in Hopalong Cassidy. It's pretty good, man. This one. Look at all this action going on in here.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, this is this stuff we got from Mike. And that's everything that wasn't Joe Palooka. So then let's fly through the Joe Palookas really quick. And we'll take a look because there's a huge stack. So here's the Joe Palookas I got. So they are in order. Here's number 8. This is an early issue. And I haven't read this one yet, but this is maybe the beginning of his romance with his fiance, who would later become his wife. She's real pretty right here. Her name is Anne Howe. Yeah, it's a joke. See, it's
yeah.
It's like Dolph Lundgren there.
Yeah, he does. He always kind of looks like Dolph Lundgren, but she sent Cupid up here to knock him out, so he'll fall in love with her. Here's number 17 that we the aforementioned number 17 that told us about Joseph Goebbels and his hate for Joe Palooka. He despised Joe Palooka. Joe Palooka lost the war for the Nazis. Hey, here's this Valentine's issue with everybody on here. As I mentioned before, this is kind of like not a kid's comic. It's really, it seems like it's for parents or for, I don't know, everyone. It's an all ages thing, but the humor in here is real adult without being adult. And also there's a little bit of stuff in here. We're just going to open this one and take a chance and see if we see any of it. Sometimes there's stuff in here that looks a little bit like well, actually, you know what? We can look in this one that I read last night because I know it's in here. So the stuff that's in here sometimes is what would have been considered to be not lowbrow, but at the same time, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek spicy. So what I mean is that you're going to see here in a second, like these panels that, like, to us now look like nothing, but see that panel right there?
Okay.
There's little things that look a bit like a Tijuana Bible, the style of the art, and there's a little bit of seduction happening here, but obviously not a jungle comic because this isn't for. It's a different thing happening here, but there's a little bit of sexuality, like even on this right here that you saw Anne holding her arms like this. That's seductive purposefully, what she's doing there. She's preventing us from seeing her breasts, but she's making herself beautiful and vulnerable, and her arms are perfectly shaped. But so there's some elements to this thing that's you gotta it's multi-layered. Joe Palooka is multi-layered.
It's
Moving
like
right
Shakespeare.
along, there's just tons of covers that just look like they're repeats because this is a boxing comic. No matter what kind of adventures he's getting into, he's getting in boxing matches almost every issue. There's adventures, espionage, crime. That's pretty much everything that's happening here. The only thing that doesn't happen in these titles is fantasy. So
that could be Terry and the
really
Pirates looking.
What's that? What?
That could be Terry and the Pirates almost right there.
Yeah, it looks like, and actually there's a period here in Joe Palooka where it's like Terry and the Pirates. It's World War II. They're in the South Pacific. There's a female villain that looks like the Dragon Lady. It's very much like that. But yeah, it's action, adventure, crime, espionage, war, but there's no real fantasy that ever happened. There's humor. I forgot that part. So there's humor in all of these stories. There's like little jokes that aren't really even jokes that sometimes they hit, but most of the time they don't. The comics are very thick and heavy. Most of these are 52 pagers. And at this time, so this is like a big comic. I mean, at this time, these 10 centers that Harvey is printing are very well made. So in the golden age, like the late 40s, early to mid 50s, each company produced stuff, the quality of the paper and the binding and the inking process, the color separation, all that was clearly affected by time and money spent put into the process or whatever. So Harvey was a big company, and these comics hold together still to this day. They're beautiful colors. They're thick, heavy paper.
Yeah, when you opened it, you could see white paper and everything. So this is obviously the company that would later do Casper and Hot Stuff. Now, some of these have little text stories about the black cat. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them do. There's a lot of good text stories as well as house ads. Like you can see some really cool house ads of all the early Harvey titles. Harvey was doing something in the early 50s, right before the Wortham thing that was happening. We're not there yet. So everything we've been looking at so far is all pre-code. This is all pre-code, and it all looks very above board, right? You haven't seen anything that would make a mom scream or anything, but because really these are comics that like maybe dad is reading at the barber shop. I don't know. It's a weird comic. It's a strange thing. It's like maybe your parents would buy for you. I don't know. It's not that attractive. If I was 12 years old, I wouldn't be into these, right? I would be looking for the horror comics and the crime comics and all the stuff that bothered Dr. Wortham.
Well, what year are you talking about here? Like 47? Those books may not have existed yet, or just barely started.
Oh, yeah, they were just barely starting, probably.
Yeah.
So here's something cool. This is a really neat one. So then I think we're getting close to, they're kind of changing it up a little bit. Now he's in Brazil, and look at how cool this cover is where he's fighting this giant native.
Wasn't he looking for a comic with he was kept talking about a girl on the cover?
Yeah, he didn't have that issue, but that he was talking about for Jambo, but I'm pretty sure I know the issue he was talking about because I have it. It's not here. It's in the
Okay,
bedroom.
so you could show it to us sometime.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. It's actually on my channel. On my channel, I made 2 Joe Palooka review videos, one of them for the Freedom Train and the other one for the that cover of Joe and Jerry. And I think her name is Melody. She was this island girl that they meet on a South Pacific island. She's really pretty and shapely. She looks great. Her name is Melody, like a jungle girl, kind of, more like a native girl. She's got like a sarong on. The fix is in. So there's a lot of like jargon in these comics. Like they talk like old people talked in movies a lot, you know, kind of fun. He's fighting a bear. This looks great. They all look great to me.
Yeah.
We're gonna fly through them. Just a lot of air until we get to here. So right, so here's I think that's Belanki or something. So then in about 1952 or 53, right around the same time that the comics were getting outrageous, Harvey is really making these war comics that are over the top called Battle, Warfront. There might be another one. And as far as like ultra violent war comics for like 1952, 1953, Harvey has some of the best ones with like art by Lee Elias and Frank Springer, I think.
Yes.
They were doing the real violent horror comics too.
Yeah. So those same guys, so it was selling so well that they're like, let's do it to Joe Palooka. So they made Joe Palooka into Joe Palooka's Battle Adventures. And so this is like the one that Ken just showed. This is a different one. Yeah, this is the other one that I got.
So if we want to get more of these
side, there's typically one story in here that will be like the cover that will be a Joe Palooka specific Battle Adventures. And then the rest of the comic will be him introducing stories like the Crypt Keeper kind of.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, okay. If
Like
we want to get more of these battle adventures, are they pretty pricey?
I don't know. I don't really know how expensive they are. I don't remember if I paid very much for the other ones that I have. I just know that they're hard to find. You don't see them very often.
And yeah. And how many issues was
I don't know the exact number. It's not many. It's like 10 or 12. It's like 1 year.
Is it a separate numbering, or did they change Joe Palooka into this?
Same numbering. So it goes from Joe Palooka to Joe Palooka Battle Adventures, and then it goes to just being called Joe Palooka's Adventures, which comes after this. And it's the numbering continues the whole way through. And Harvey kept making these, I think, until about 1959. I think it ends in about 59. I don't remember for sure. And even the later issues are great. And let me show you something that I like about these. Let's look at this one right here. Just this will be the last Palooka, the last comic we'll look at. So I like the little things, right? Attention to detail. It's the little things in life. So I like this logo.
Yeah.
And I like this little, just boring lettering for the numbering. Can you see it? It's just so like inconspicuous and so above board, so straight. It's like this is like a completely socially acceptable comic for like a 30-year-old man to read at work while he's on his break or something. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to get made fun of reading Joe Palooka in 1954 at all. I think it's acceptable. It's read by millions, it says. So there's some other things in here that I like. I'm going to show you just right off the last thing I'll show you. I like these thick panel lines. See, this is purposeful. See how they stick out? It's purposeful. It's like you're not used to seeing them like this. They're always thick like that. Look. Separately from the Justice Department funds. And we have the Justice Department now admitting that they orchestrated. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yes, Last Frontier is saying they're around $75 in mid-grade.
Wow.
Really? Well, yeah. Who would have? Well, I guess it makes sense with the gory covers and everything. Oh boy. And Micah, you got about what, eight or nine comics or?
Oh, from Mike, I got 4.
Oh, 4. Okay.
Yeah, just 4 Roy Rogers.
I'm going to eat my ice cream. It kind of melted here, but it's going to be delicious.
And I think everything that was at Gotham City sold except for a Space Cadet hat, and that may have been it. So Mike said if he finds other stuff, he'll send it to Kevin, but at this point, he's got to be in the final stages of packing if he's going to be on an airplane on Tuesday. It's it's like leaving the day before tax day. I wonder if that's the reason. I guess if you leave to another country, what can they do about it? I don't know. I shouldn't be suggesting.
They can have you. They can have you brought back.
Oh well. Huh. Well, hopefully they'll be just doing away with all of that. Hopefully things work out. That would sure be great. That would really fix things if people that make under a certain amount just have their entire paycheck to spend, and people wouldn't be living. Most people wouldn't be living paycheck to paycheck anymore. They'd have a little bit more freedom.
And on that note, I better get out of here because I have to go to work early in the morning. So
yeah. I was up at 4:30 this morning.
Oh dear.
Yeah. It's a long day. Well, cool. It's nice to have you on. And
oh yeah.
Let's see. I guess we've exhausted everything. Meyer, is Meyer still even there? No, he's not. Oh, yeah, there he is. I'm sorry. I couldn't find you. You're eating.
I've got ice cream soup, you guys.
All right.
All right. Well, take care, Micah.
All right. We'll see you.
Oh, boy.
This is kind of funny. It's a sports thing, but it's still going to be funny too. So last night I'm watching a game. You know how I watch these old games? I'm watching an NBA game from 1980. It's the NBA playoffs. It's 1980. It's the Seattle Supersonics versus the Portland Trail Blazers. Brent Musburger and Bill Russell are calling. Brent Musburger is great. It's just a great game. Early on in the game, maybe the second quarter, and Brent Musburger's doing his thing. He's talking about the injury report. And he's talking about Kareem's migraines. He says Kareem's been out for the past week because he's got these terrible migraines. And I interviewed him. And then Brent quotes Kareem, and he says, when I spoke with Kareem, he said, the pain be in my head, and it feel like the alien be trying to push out through my eyeball. I swear to God, that's what he said. He said just like that. It feel like the alien. So I thought it was cool because it's 1980. So, you know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has seen the first Alien movie by this time. So his migraine is so bad that he's telling Brent Musburger, the pain in my head be feeling like the alien be trying to push out through my eyeball. And I was like, oh, that's great. Brent Musburger said it just like that and just kept going. And I was like, so yeah, I was laughing because at the time it was in the background. I was reading a Joe Palooka comic. I was smoking a Camel cigarette. All that happened. You had to be there, but it was really funny. Be feeling like the alien pushing out through my eyeball.
I stumbled on some audio of Howard Cosell going ballistic in a studio, kind of like that Casey Kasem tirade.
Yeah, Kareem was like making a comparison to the chest bursting scene from Alien, which had just come out maybe the year before, and he was saying his migraine felt like the alien was in his head and it was trying to push out through his.
I think he might have been. Wasn't there a scene that the big metal tongue of the alien went into Yaphet Kotto's skull? I think
he might have been referencing that too. You're right.
Yeah, reference that because there was that thing went and crushed Yaphet Kotto's head. That has to be the scene he was thinking of. Yeah. Because the chest bursting scene's not a headache.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I didn't remember that scene. So that makes perfect sense. He was directly linking it to the movie.
Yeah. My goodness.
I'm here to help.
Yeah, I've never heard Howard Cosell saying the F word, and it was kind of entertaining the other morning. Well, what's the best way to fix the fallopian tube on the USS Enterprise, Meyer?
I don't know, man. Glue?
Have it removed.
What?
I hear people talking about tying the tubes. You might be able to tie them together.
Have it removed. Just remove it.
Just remove it and have it a damn spaceship.
That when it pulls on each end of the tube, it would get tighter, like a Chinese finger trap.
Man, what is this here? God damn. How did this get here? Where does this come from? This button is on the stairs. Let me show you. This was on something. Where did these cats get it from? You see that there?
What's that?
Welcome, come back again. And they were playing with it on these stairs, and it could have,
They got it out of the general store.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was on one of those boxes. How did you know that, Kevin? Did you study this?
No, if I was a cat, I'd be in the general store.
I think that was where that was. I think you're actually right. So that means I need to go in there and see if they knocked a box down or something.
That's where all the good stuff is. They can eat in there.
Well, there's
you have all the gummies. The gummies are in there.
Oh yeah, you're right about that. Shit. Oh man.
They're like store cats, like the one I just saw.
Yeah.
The cat I saw, he was sleeping on a pile of cat food.
Oh, well, these kittens that we got, their mom lives on a farm about, 20 miles away, and that their mom is pregnant again. So there's going to be more kittens like these guys.
Oh wow! Last Frontier says I almost have a complete collection of all the Harvey War. Wow! I just have a couple, man. I've got like a couple war fronts and a couple battles, and then a couple. Now I've got like 4 Joe Palookas. I just don't have that many because I just haven't found that many over the years.
There was a coyote. There was a coyote outside my house this morning. Yeah, there was a coyote walking down my street when I was going to work this morning.
All right, I'm back.
That was a lot of big bowl of ice cream soup, you guys.
Cleo, your mom just called. That's what kicked me off the air. So my mother-in-law kicked me off my own show by calling. Let's see. So, what did I miss? There's a coyote loose. What's going on?
There was a coyote
Saw a
outside.
coyote this morning.
He's doing what?
He was just walking down the street. He wasn't doing anything.
My goodness. I was brushing my teeth, and then I got kicked off the air by my mother-in-law call, which is just as well because you don't need to be hearing me brush my teeth. It's not. Johnny Carson never did that on TV. Let me see if something got knocked over. I think that button was in one of these boxes in here, and that means where was that, man? Okay, let's take a look. I thought it was in one of these boxes. I just don't know, man.
I'm looking through my most recent, jokes and ideas, and a lot of them are just I can't really, I can't read them aloud. But one of the ones that's kind of funny, sometimes I don't know what they mean because I wrote them down like in different states of fugue state. They're like fugue state ramblings and scribblings. But this one, it just says phantom circumcision pains, which I think it must have been funny to me because you know how you have phantom phantom amputation, like a phantom, your leg's been amputated.
Yeah.
But this is a phantom circumcision pain. So yeah, I think that I was tying in the idea that somebody could have PTSD. They're claiming PTSD from circumcision, I think is what it would be. I think it's a thing. I think it's a real thing. I'm pushing for it.
Yeah. A Doge hasn't caught people using that angle yet.
I think it's a possible angle. Then I'm working on a whole story that's just called Smear the Queer. It's about that really fun game we all used to play outside in the neighborhood. Smear the Queer. I'm going to see if I can get it. I think just the title alone will make me eligible for an Oscar.
There were sure a lot of politically incorrect children's games in the old days. But, my goodness gracious. So,
Remember the game Red Rover?
I remember the name, but I don't remember what it was or how it was played. I remember Kick the Can.
I was gonna say we used to play kick the can. It was like hide and seek at night is how we played it, and you had to run back to the base was the can or something, and you kick that before you're found. I think.
I just remember the can would sometimes be kicked into someone's face and there'd be blood streaming
Oh, I
everywhere.
never saw that. It was yeah. I remember.
Sometimes, you'd go out, well, you'd have to live in cold environments, but this happened in Texas. Kids would get snowballs and throw them at cars passing by. These damn kids put little chunks of ice inside the snowballs. It broke out a guy's window, man. It's like, oh shit. There's some kid I was playing with, but it wasn't me. Luckily, they caught the real culprit. But yeah, that's not good to do that. So, what are these people talking about? Oh boy. Anyway, so now all the dopamine is passed. Now I've got to concentrate on my next order with Kevin. It's like, but I
You
gotta
can
wait a
keep it
couple
going
weeks.
because you have to look through. You have to unbag every one of those comics and look through it.
Yeah, you're
Not
right. It's
necessarily
not.
read it.
Yeah,
I know
it's
you
not
can read it.
over. I've got
It's
all
not
these
over.
books to read. But
It's not over yet, but the main rush is past. Yeah, the main hit.
okay,
It's
so
kind
only one thing was broken. It's not a big deal. It can be fixed. It's um shit. Uh yeah.
like these trays. I don't know what I'm gonna. I'd like to hang them up, put them somewhere where I can look at them. And definitely
Yeah, how
the.
do you hang them?
I don't
You
know. My
almost
mom
need
had that
just,
one. I think it was hung up.
I would say you'd lean them against the wall on a top shelf
Yeah, you could do that too.
at an angle. You'd have to, man, I don't know how you'd hang them.
There's a little bit of a lip, I think, on the back. You'd have to like use like a finishing nail at like an angle, like two finishing
Yeah.
nails at an angle, and then kind of hang it there. I
Well,
don't know. Probably leaning it, standing it up is probably the best thing, I guess.
well, you're in a place that's subject to slight tremors, right? You're still in California.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd hang it on a little nail and hope that the lip will hold it if things start getting a little shaky. But because if that falls and hits the ground, it's gonna no longer be pretty much mint. It's gonna potentially really ding it, bang it up. You've got carpet. I don't know. I think you've got carpet.
Yeah, I have carpet in the living room and tile in the kitchen.
Well,
But I don't know.
I want to know more about Joe Palooka. I look on YouTube, and everyone's got this one Joe Palooka movie. There must be 7 or 8 people that have the same movie uploaded. Some people have it stretched to fill the screen, which is asinine because movies of that era weren't widescreen, and it just makes everything distorted. But there's at least 1 or 2. I haven't watched it yet, but there's 1 or 2 people that have it in the correct proportion, ratio, whatever you call it. But I know there's a ton of Joe Palooka movies, and they're just not there on YouTube as far as I haven't been able to find them. Um, yeah, yeah, I want to find out more about Otto Bender. I was reading about him earlier today, and because that generation, guys born about 1911 that were into the science fiction of the pulp era,
Yeah.
uh, the Ray Harryhausens, the Forrest J. Ackermans, the Ray Bradburys, the Otto Bender, Mort Wessinger, all these guys were into science fiction, and then comics came along, and that first generation were science fiction guys. And then comics were something they realized, though, some of these comics are actually good, are well written, and then some of them got into comics, and Um, brought a lot of their interesting ideas from the pulp science fiction magazines. And that's the way it was, you know, when I got into comics, the older collectors, the people that I would see that were ancient, that were now what my age is now, or maybe older, they were mainly science fiction people. They were, and the first store I went to, Lone Star Comics, which is now mycomicshop.com, it was Lone Star Comics and science fiction. It was comic books, it was science fiction paperbacks, it was magazines, and that's all it was. And I look back to when everything went wrong, and I think I'm going to move it back to like 1978. Because in 1978, it seems like that's when comics started to be distributed directly to comic stores in addition to being on newsstands. And I think that's when everything started to go bad. It's also when video games started to come into the home. All about the same time is when, because I don't think I changed. Comic books changed because I still love the old comics and I still get old comics from back. I still say it is in 1978. If someone came, if you had a comic store and they said, "I've got some old comics," any comic in those boxes is going to be good. Any comic before 1978 was good, but in 78, or maybe a few years after that, it just seemed like with the direct distributed books just didn't feel like comic books to me. There was stuff like it was all I don't know, maybe the Omega Men. I guess there was I guess that there was still good stuff being put out in the late '70s. Jonah Hex, and I liked the new Teen Titans and the X-Men, but it wasn't long before they became just total shit to me. And when the Marvel TV series Spider-Man was on and Hulk was a pretty good TV series. Spider-Man wasn't, but it still they were not anything. Neither of them were anything like the comic, and it just felt like a sellout from Marvel. And then some of them were better than others, but Marvel started putting out all these cash grab comics based on toys, Transformers and ROM, and so some of those are pretty good. And it's just that whole era of toy comics, and then DC destroying everything in their history with Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then the real serious dark comics come out like Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen, which I enjoyed at the time, and I still think they're great comics. But I think it hurt. Then they tried to make all the comics like that, and everything just. Oh, and also in the late '70s, that's when Dungeons and Dragons came out. And then the comic stores started devoting room to that shit and those idiots. And it just seemed like then everything just fell apart and wasn't interesting anymore. Like Kevin just got a mint condition, like absolute stone mint condition copy of Amazing Spider-Man 300. I'm pretty sure I saw that when it was on the stand, and I could have cared less. It's a comic I loved, but I don't care to see it look like that with that art. I don't care about Venom and Carnage and it's just and it I was doing other things in the '80s. I had friends that were they liked comics, but comics were way down on their list. They were
So
and
what's
they were well-rounded people.
I
And
think that you could say that like the first. So it's interesting that that people our age in our same age group, like that grew up at the same time, we're returning to comics. Not all of us. Some of us. Some of these people that are here, they've been dorks their whole lives. But like the middle of my life, like from the time I was like 17 until I was like 47, I really wasn't reading comics or going. You know what I mean? I wasn't like. I had a whole life. I had like girlfriends, fiancés, wives, ex-wives, kids. I had, yeah, problems, all kinds of tons of problems. So the whole middle of your life is kind of like it tests you to see how you can withstand troubles and tribulation and problems to get back to recapture that moment when you were 15, when you could actually relax and sit down and maybe sit on your stomach. Remember how you used to read comics on your stomach with your elbows underneath your chin, and you would lay on the floor and read the whole comic with your face right close to the panel and everything? So
Yeah.
it's that you lose focus of the feeling of joy that comics bring you maybe in that middle portion of your life, and it comes back later. I don't know.
Well, I don't think I would have lost it even through the horrible shit I went through in the 90s and early 2000s. There was some rough times. I would have still enjoyed going and picking up my favorite comics if they were drawn by people I liked or written. I just everything just was. Uh,
Luckily,
oh
there's
no.
enough. There was always enough of everything, at least for me, that if there wasn't anything good coming out, which for many years, for like about 20 years, there wasn't. So I was still able to find back issues, and I was still able to expose my kids to it all. And so even though I
Yeah.
wasn't like a big time regular comic shop person, or following buying titles month after month for most of the time, I still was picking stuff up from time to time and knew enough to show my kids Fire and Ice when they were 12, that sort of thing. I exposed
Oh,
them to everything that we love.
well, I was going into comic stores all along, all through these horrible periods, but there was always good stuff coming out. But I'd go in and I'd search the entire rack and I'd find one or two things. It might be Hate or Eight Ball
Yeah.
or for a while Harvey. Speaking of Harvey, they were reprinting a lot of stuff from that time period of Joe. I don't think they ever reprinted Joe Palooka, but they're reprinting the Black Cat comics.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember.
and that was the 90s, or was it late 80s? There was the Dave Stevens period. I was picking up everything by Dave Stevens when it was coming out. I loved that. The Rocketeer, that was great. What else was great?
Madman was good when Mike Allred showed up. That was all good stuff. I really liked Madman.
Yeah, I didn't read Madman. I didn't. I don't have many issues of that, but I've always liked Mike Allred's art. Um, I should go back and read Madman, but I've always liked what Mike Allred does when he shows up on titles, and uh, a lot of the artists that I loved kind of disappeared around that time, or passed away.
You know what was good? You remember that Raw, that Art Spiegelman anthology that he was putting out?
Raw, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was really good.
I
And
thought you were
Mouse.
saying Ra, the Egyptian god, at first.
Oh
I
no, I was
don't know
talking about
that.
the Spiegelman. Like when I first saw Art Spiegelman's Mouse, it was in
Yeah,
episodes in Raw, and
right, right. Yeah, that was
I was impressed by that.
highbrow but
Um,
lowbrow. It was lowbrow, but it was a highbrow thing. It was like meant for people that frequented art galleries, but it was also lowbrow. It was kind of weird. Yeah, I like that. And no, Drew. Jeez, cat and dog almost got in a fight. It's just I can't stand
Well, you know
things,
what
man.
else I noticed about Joe Palooka when I was reading it last night? I had just looked at some Gilbert Shelton Freak Brothers, and I always feel like I've got so in my mind, when I look at Robert Crumb or Gilbert Shelton, I think that they read Joe Palooka. Um, there's things about the style and the inking and the composition, the backgrounds, all of the still life in the background and everything. It really, I'm like, oh, these guys were they cut their teeth on this stuff, on Captain Marvel, Joe Palooka,
Yeah,
maybe the Spirit, certain things, the funny animals,
yeah.
um, Dell Comics, and other, all kinds of stuff, whatever. But yeah, I can see the influence of this stuff
I
when I
like
look
to
at the
read.
early underground artists.
I'd like to read more Captain Marvel, but I don't really know how to do it. I mean, I've got some archive editions, but it ran for a long time, and I don't know how to. There just aren't books that reprint the whole run of the comic. I wish there were.
There
Um,
aren't. I think Juan Donalan might have did it. I think that that's
uh, they could have. I don't. Yeah. Um, but
can't remember.
it's.
But so that must be all. That's all tied up in copyrights. Why can't we see all of that?
Well,
That
I just
CCB.
don't know. I don't know if there's interest in it. Uh, but you know what, Kevin? Well, he's probably. I don't know if he's still there, but I don't know if he could tell the story better than me. He said to me yesterday that people kept. A lady came into a store asking for, do you how many, like a bunch. She wanted multiple copies of. I don't remember the issue number of Adventure Comics where Crypto first appears. And there's just some lady looking for that. And then someone else came into a store looking for any cover, Crypto on the cover of anything, and found a bunch of them. And so what that tells me is that there's normal people are becoming very infatuated with this Crypto in the trailer and clips from the new Superman movie, and it's causing them to seek out Crypto. Um, so, because he's actually seeing that happen. Now he's got this mint condition Spider-Man 300, and don't listen to me, badmouth it, because if you want one, he's got probably the best copy that's anyone's ever seen. Um, but I just, I don't know. To me, all of that stuff belongs in a certain time period. It belongs in the '60s. Certain heroes belong in certain time periods, and that's just where they function the best. Um, Spider-Man doesn't make sense in today's world. You have to completely tweak it to make it make sense. Because how do you make money as a photographer for a newspaper in today? It doesn't even, no one even knows what a newspaper is. So in these current movies, they have to make, well, J. Jonah Jameson is basically an Alex Jones guy on the internet. And it's like, okay, so how is, I don't remember, did Peter Parker interact with J. Jonah Jameson in that last Spider-Man movie?
I
Or
didn't
is he
see
going to
it.
leak stuff to this Alex Jones guy is about Spider-Man? Is that how, I don't know where they're going with it.
I didn't see it. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, they
I know.
had the same guy that played J. Jonah Jameson in the Sam Raimi movies. I forget his name because I've lost my mind. Uh, Played him, except he, has a bald head now.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know. He's good.
yeah, well, he played him again, but he played him like he's Alex Jones on a big computer TV screen on a building. Have you seen Alex Jones lately? He's lost
Yeah.
all this weight. I guess he
Yeah.
dyed his beard darker, and
Yeah.
he's looks like he's in really good shape, and he's hawking this stuff that yeah, he really has gotten trim.
Super male vitality.
Yeah, that's what it's called. uh, it probably works. I'm not knocking it, but I don't think it makes your beard darker. My wife gave me. It's like I ran out of shampoo, and she says, "Use this." And I said, "This isn't shampoo. This is a bar of soap." And she says, "No, it's shampoo. You just rub it on your hair." And I was like, "What?" And she said, "It makes your hair feel better." And she says, "Some people it even makes their hair darker. It's like some magical stuff. And it helps grow hair." Or I don't remember what all she said. And then there
You
was this
remember?
another bar that was like conditioner. It's like, never rubbed a bar of soap on my hair. Uh, and it's
You remember
like,
G, your hair smells terrific? That was the name of the shampoo was called G, your hair smells
I
terrific.
know, I remember the ads for that back in the 70s. And either it was last birthday or the birthday before, she got me this cologne, and it's the cologne that James Bond used in the Ian Fleming novels, and they still make it. It's called Floris or something, and it's like, oh my gosh, man, she finds the weirdest stuff. Uh, Speaking of, Alex Jones just ended. Drew, I got to get up. Yeah, Alex Jones did a great interview with Tucker Carlson either last night or the night before. You can see it on YouTube. Um,
I used to really like Prel shampoo. I'll tell you the
yeah,
reason why
yeah,
I liked Prel. So I can remember being like a little kid and like, remember how you were a little kid and you would spend like an hour in the bathtub, right? You remember that? Like maybe longer. I mean, until the water got cold or something, you're just in the bathtub playing with toys.
yeah.
So
That's what
that
happened to my first two Aquaman Mego dolls.
they were
They,
destroyed by the water. But the
well,
Prel would
yeah.
be there. That Prel was like really thick and like there's air bubbles in it, and you could take it and hold it upside down, and you would like watch the bubble come up really, really slowly. That's what I'm talking about. This is like this is like prehistoric ASMR. It's like it was probably treating my Asperger's and my OCD, and self-treating it by staring at the Prel bottle for like 3 minutes straight. But I can remember staring at that Prel bottle, watching the bubbles slowly rise up through the green viscous shampoo.
Okay, hold on. My wife is actually watching because she's commenting here. Oh, wait, well, let me see what people are saying.
That
Alan
sounds like
Quigley. I don't. That's a name I don't recognize. Hello, Alan. Maybe you're a new person, or either that, or I just don't remember. He says, "Hey, Kevin, we'll get back to you and see if you've come across any stuff besides the horror Mike book." Well, horror Mike book. Alan Quigley. What? I don't know who that is. Okay. He must be looking for horror stuff from. Uh, tried to come on earlier but couldn't get in. Oh, I saw a red dot, but I didn't see anybody when I clicked on it. Let's see. Let's see. My bright wife says the brand I got is called Viore. Hide from stage. I have seen people regrow hair with it. I don't know. Well, maybe I guess it's possible. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. So anyway, Kevin, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, I'm gonna end the show, and then but you guys stick around for a couple minutes. So I don't know, guys. I may be back Saturday. I don't know. Maybe Saturday I'll do a show. I probably could. I don't think I've got anything else going on. Oh well, I got. Well, no, that's tomorrow. Yeah, I probably could come on and do maybe some kind of show Saturday. So everybody, take care. Goodbye now. Goodbye.